Yo, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Big up to every single one of you guys in the chat. Big up to the panel, starting panel of Scotty, the Bridge Nation, and me, myself, Marshall DVDX, Casually FC, whatever you would like to call me. Welcome to the show, ladies and gents. We have a good one for you guys. So before we go ahead and start, as always, ladies and gents, be sure to smash up the like button if you haven't done so already. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here or just tuning in. If you've been here before and haven't already subscribed, what are you waiting for? You know, we're giving you content every single week, twice a week, 3 times a week sometimes, working hard behind the scenes to make sure that we're still up and running throughout the whole entire transfer season, summer season, before we get back into the action of the Premier League when that starts up in August. So yeah, be sure to subscribe so you're always informed and always in the know-how and enjoying the streams that we're going to have for you guys here on Casually FC. Bell notifications so you know whenever we do go live, because we're pretty much always going live on this channel. Very seldomly is there pre-recorded content. But also, check out the links in the description below for more content. You got the Bridge Nation down there who's doing streams for the transfer window, and he's going to be cranking those out a lot more than I will be here in the channel. So check out that to stay informed on the loop and entertained. You got a lot of the panelists.
Sadly, there will be a Club World Cup watch on tomorrow, sadly.
Oh, look at that. What game?
Chelsea's playing tomorrow, bro.
Oh, so you'll be doing a watch along for Chelsea. So yeah, if you want to do the watch along for Chelsea, yeah.
I'm just gonna be honest though, we are not doing a 1 hour preview before the game for our Club World Cup game though.
No,
if
we'll
anyone
do a little preview today maybe, but
no. You know when I start the show, usually I start an hour before we talk about the lineup and stuff.
Okay.
This is not serious, bro. I'm not serious, bro.
Yeah. We'll discuss that in a few as to why you're not serious. But yeah, by all means, check out that channel. Also, links in the description. Like I said, leave a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts on all the things that we're going to be discussing today. And then check out the memberships. There's 4 different tiers starting at 99p. That is less than $1 for you guys in the States and less than a pound note over there in the UK. So the pound note.
A what?
Did I say that right?
A pound note.
A what now?
It's a pound coin, mate. You know what I mean? No.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
We're not like America. We don't have everything.
You know, bro, not everything.
There's a dollar note, right? You guys
that's
have
what
like
I mean.
a
You've
pound
got notes for everything, bro.
We have got a fiver. That's what we started
Yeah,
with.
the
you started at 5.
Yeah, 5
Wow.
pounds.
The more you know. I didn't know that. I thought you got your
5.
pound is a coin.
Yes, and then we have a £2 coin as well.
It's called a pound. That's why it's called a pound, bro. It's actually a coin. Legit.
Oh,
You know, like like a weight, like you know, like how the weight system, like the old system used to be pounds, right?
Wait,
that's like so that's what,
the five bill that you have, you don't call it £5, you call it 5 quid, literally?
No, it's a £5.
That's slang. That's a slang.
Okay, quid is slang. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, quid is slang because you say you have a quid, which would be £1.
Yes.
So it's a coin.
Shit.
Yes.
Yeah, shit. Hey, listen.
We don't have $100
Yandu,
bill like
if
you guys do.
If
By
you
the
chill
way,
out
No, I
and
think
you
we do have
sit back
£100
and relax,
bill.
we'll tell you why
No, we don't.
there's
We don't.
possibility
We
there.
don't.
It's not
We don't.
cafe. I don't
It's
usually
50
do
the
that.
highest we go to.
Mhm.
No, we don't have 100. We don't have 100 one. We only go to
You sure
5,
about
10. Yeah, I'm fairly certain. 5, 10, 50. It's 5, 10, 20, and 50. We don't go to 100.
Interesting. I know we have 50s. I thought we had 100s as well for some reason.
No. We don't have. We don't do that, sadly.
Gonna do them
Yeah,
things.
I didn't know all this. So yeah, if you guys just found out about that and you found that educational, by all means, smash up the like button to show support for the education of the American education system, because God only knows we need it. Anyways, but yeah. Check all that stuff out, guys. Helps us out tremendously. I didn't actually prepare a banner for this, but I figured let's just start talking about it. Club World Cup started yesterday with the inaugural opening game of Al Ahly versus Inter Miami. Today we had the beating, the battering, the massacre of FC Auckland against Bayern, and the PSG battering as well that occurred just now for against Atletico Madrid. So that was three decent games so far, I'll say. Starting off with yesterday's game, listen, it was a 0-0, a stalemate. In terms of the quality, it's not there. You could definitely tell like these teams will struggle once they go up against better sides, but it was still entertaining. There were opportunities. Al Ahly missing quite a few. The first half being all Al Ahly. And then the second half, Mascherano coming out with a bit of some tactics for Inter Miami. And then they decided to control the ball more, and Inter Miami got more involved into the game. A last-minute brilliant save by the Al Ahly keeper for a Messi goal that would have been a crazy last-minute winner for Inter Miami if that had gone in. But it was entertaining to watch. I mean, I don't know if you guys ended up watching it or saw the highlights, but I thought it was an entertaining match. There was some good opportunities. Al Ahly just missing that clinical finisher up front, and yeah, just Inter Miami just getting dominated in the midfield in that first half.
I'm not surprised. I didn't get a chance to watch it just because it was 2 in the morning.
Late as hell. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I'm away at the moment. I'm like an hour ahead of England at the moment, so it was 2 in the morning. So I was like, I'm not watching that. But none of what you said is surprising in terms of from an Inter Miami perspective. I'm not going to pretend like I've watched any of Al Ahly play, but Inter Miami this season have been terrible defensively, like just woefully bad. And it's kind of just been a case of they've got a few good young players, but it's kind of been a case of Messi or nothing. Suarez is cooked. Like he had a good season last season. This year, like the football has
he was
left.
a ghost last night.
Bro, he's
touched the ball. Barely did anything.
He's done in terms of actually like goals and assists wise. Like this season, he's done nothing. Like he's done basically nothing. It's just been Messi mainly, and then as I said, a couple of the young dudes. Even
Busquets was getting run ragged in the midfield.
Yeah, who played in midfield with him last night?
It was Busquets and God only knows. I don't. It was like a midfield 3. It turned into a midfield 2 at times. I could look it up right now because I don't know their players that well. You probably know them better because you watch. You actually follow.
Oh, it's Redondo, who we've been linked with.
Redondo, yeah.
Again, that doesn't surprise me. I think they're better, or they are able to cover more ground with it. There's another midfielder they've got that's been playing for them that covers ground a lot better and kind of helps Busquets in that aspect. So I'm not surprised their midfielder got ran through. But yeah, like that, they're not making out of that group at all.
I don't think so either. Like when you looked at that first half alone, when you looked at it, it was like the midfield was constantly 4v2. Like they were just getting ran ragged. Inter Miami weren't doing a damn thing in that first half. They had one opportunity maybe at the end of the first half, but it was all Al Ahly. I think it was the first half too. Al Ahly missed a penalty. It was just like it was insane. Like it was Trezeguet too who missed it. Former Premier League player.
Yeah, former Aston Villa player. But yeah, I'm not surprised by that. Not surprised by the Bayern result either today. Like Auckland apparently they're a part-time team, and apparently they didn't have all of their players. I saw something. I don't know how true it is. But I saw something that said apparently some of their players elected not to come because they couldn't get time off work because they have 9 to 5 jobs as well. So yeah, that doesn't surprise me about that. And then the PSG Madrid game today was like PSG are something different. And saying all that, like despite how good PSG were, Atletico Madrid still had chances. Scored a goal. So missed the penalty.
Yeah, missed the penalty.
What, Madrid, Atletico Madrid?
Wait. Hold on. No. They were. Hold
They
on.
missed an
What
open
happened?
goal from like 2 yards out.
No. I'm sorry. PSG got the penalty at the
Yeah,
end too.
he got the
Yeah.
penalty at the end.
Sorry, mixing up my games there.
But yeah, so like they had a couple of chances. They scored a goal that got brought back for a foul. What's his name? Sorloth missed from about 2 yards out. Like,
Yeah, that was criminal.
and and Gallagher came on and stunk the pitch out. So
All right. Sorry,
Oh,
dude, I
see,
bring...
see,
the
see,
thing
I
was,
see what
yeah.
Scott did there.
No, I see what Scott did there,
So
but the thing
bro, he
was...
was shit.
He
The
didn't
thing
do
was,
shit.
bro. The thing is, bro. It's not.
Oh, here comes
we're
the excuses.
No, we're actually being a bit unfair to him because, like, he came on
But
the
he was
pitch, bro,
shit.
when they were losing 2-0. Like, what are we doing? They
What
were
do you
already
mean?
down at that point.
They were still shit.
It's football. 2-0, you could come back from a 2-0.
All right, buddy.
If you had said 4-0, I would have been like, yeah, you're right, man. What are they gonna do? But it's 2-0. You could come back from 2-0.
You know, you can come back from a 2-0. I can come back from
Bro, he was partly at fault for the last goal they conceded. Sorry, the third goal they conceded, not the last goal.
I'll be honest, man. The other thing was, I saw that Longley got also
Longley
Yeah,
got
that
a
was cool.
second yellow and he got sent off. But I think his second yellow was just stupid. He was just dissent. I believe it was dissent.
You know, it was dissent, but it was the way it was like, because he got given a yellow card, then there was a pause, like the referee had completely forgotten he'd given him a yellow card, like a yellow card earlier, and then it went back to booking me. It was just
And that happened from the play where Oblak was trying to play out the back, and who was it? Who was the one that got in the way? Was it Pacho? I don't know who got in the way of the ball, but nothing came of it. But like, obviously, Oblak was pissed. Langley, confronted the ref, and yeah, everything there occurred. And it was even after they went down to 10 men that they got the penalty. Or I keep thinking they got the penalty.
Yeah,
they conceded the penalty.
Yeah, they got the chance with Sorloth.
And they got the chance that
straight off
Sorloth missed.
down to 10 men.
Yeah, it was just not a good day for Atletico Madrid at all. Like at the office, that was, one of their first half wasn't bad. The second half, things just fell apart completely. Not that the first half was that much better. I mean, that's when they conceded the 2 goals. But, bro, Vitinha, man, that his goal was.
Oh, yeah, he's nuts.
I'm saying it right now. Like for me, I know he might not have the GNA, and that might be everything that matters in terms of like Ballon d'Or. But for me, bro, that guy, like his season is immense. Oh, Dembele's season's immense too. Don't get me wrong. Considering,
I just think, you know what it is. I just think they play football similar to what Man City used to do, which is where it doesn't provide. You don't need to use too much energy. Actually, that's something that I think that allows them to play as well as they do. They don't need to use as much energy. They're able to keep the ball ticking. The players don't need to do too much movement, right? And so it means that they tire out a lot less than, if you're looking at Atletico Madrid, the whole thing is based on running, pushing the pace, pushing the speed, right? And that's something that I think is going to really help them in this tournament, by the way, because a lot of teams are going to be very, very tired, bro. So,
yeah,
having a system does not require that much work from you as a player is always to your benefit. I'll be honest.
Yeah, for sure. I could definitely see that. I mean, it's more sustainable, especially with, how many games these players are playing. And, you already have players coming out and saying that they're knackered and they feel exhausted and they're ready for their next break. And listen, I get it. I get it. I think this is unfortunately the direction that football is moving in terms of just like packed out schedules. And teams have to adapt, and teams have to just have bigger rosters now to just be able to rest and rotate players. And this is just unfortunately where things are going. So it's unfortunate in terms of the player, but for us, the consumer, it is quite entertaining to see, like, the 10-0 battering Bayern just put on Auckland was insane. But at the same time as well, like that PSG game where that was like the first like serious game that we saw in this tournament so far, it was entertaining as well. It was entertaining. The next game,
I'll be honest, man. It's a shame that they're not doing this in a minimum 40k crowd, though, isn't it? So
What was I was gonna ask, what was the atmosphere like in the stadium? Because I had it muted the whole time.
In terms of yesterday, Inter Miami, it seemed like a pretty good atmosphere. Like
What about today?
Today, it seemed like a pretty good atmosphere too for Bayern. Really, I didn't really get to listen much in on the Atletico PSG game, but I can imagine that was also a decent atmosphere. It was hot because it is in Los Angeles, that game, so they did take their water breaks and such. Yeah, I mean, even though it's not sold out, I do think a lot of it has to do with the fact that, one, it's the prices, right? The prices are a bit, depending on, I think I heard that Real Madrid was the only team that was able to sell out all their tickets, which is no surprise. But I think also when you look at the ticket prices, the group stages isn't the most expensive ticket, but it's also not very affordable. It's also the first year they're doing this format as well.
They're also trying to fill out huge.
Muy interesante, lads. But we'll keep this.
Yeah, I think.
I don't know what he's doing that for, but I think it's also because they're trying to fill like.
Read the room, Ahmed. Read the room.
American.
The room is very red. The room is very red. Is to say.
Yeah, read the country. I should say that.
Hey man. You know, I'm
That's
gonna
also
start
part of the
calling
reason.
I'm gonna start calling
for
calling Americans
man.
now. Yeah, man.
It's also part of the reason for the seats. It's
brokies, man. Hey, tell these.
No, it's not. It's not the brokies.
Get their money up, man.
It's not just the brokies. It's not just the brokies, Ahmed. It's the state of the state of the country at the moment.
I'll be honest, man. Football probably is also at all-time low considering what's going on with the USD.
No, I mean, listen. There's rumors going on that they're reevaluating what they might do for the World Cup. Like, I think it's too late to pull out, but like,
I think the problem
is
is
not looking good right now, man.
I think you know what the issue is, Marshall. I just think the problem for me, you know, and I'm gonna put it like this, yeah. I just really think, that the mood, obviously, in the US is not that great right now.
No, it's not.
With stuff going on
right now.
Right? You then also compound it with the stuff that's actually going on with the US national football team as well, which is not great, right? You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like, you've got a lot of stuff.
I warned people. I told people. Don't get excited. It's fucking Pochettino.
What I'm saying, it's not Poch's fault. That's what I'm here to say.
It's 100% Poch's fault.
Mr. Marshall, me and you will discuss this at a later point in time. But the point I'm trying to make here is that you've got part A plus part B is giving you plus the prices, is giving you what's happening right now. Mm-hmm. That's generally what it just comes down to, bro. You got the mood of the actual place they're in, plus the actual national football team doing poor, plus then the prices that some of these tickets are going for. You're just setting yourself up for failure. I'll be honest. You're setting yourself up for failure.
It's again though, it's like it's also the first year of the tournament. Like that's the biggest thing about it.
You can't add that too deep.
Like I think that's the biggest factor, right? Like once you do this a second time, I think it'll be a lot more successful because I keep telling people about this tournament and a lot of people don't know what the hell Club World Cup is. And obviously a channel like us and people like us that discuss football all the time, we've known this is not a new tournament. We've known this tournament's existed since the year 2000 when it was conceived, right? It's like we've known about this for years and people don't understand and people still think like they hear Club World Cup and they just hear World Cup and it's like, oh, cool. Like it's still such a new tournament for a lot of people, especially here in the US where like they're still like, Scott will tell you, you know, like MLS is more popular than it's ever been now, which is great. But at the same time, it's still nowhere near what football is in popularity in comparison to like the UK, Italy, you know, the European or the South American countries. So it's a work in progress. If this was, I guarantee you the World Cup is probably going to be completely different. But also it depends on the state of the country as well. So that's another big factor. But that's something we'll probably discuss when the time comes, when we're probably going to be switching over to World Cup content. But unless we have any other things we want to add about Club World Cup and the games we watch, I know Palmeiras is going to happen in a few moments.
I say something, man.
Go for it, man.
It's about hyping, man. I hope he performs tonight, man. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, we'll see. He's up against Porto. It's not no Mickey Mouse Club either.
also got a couple of people playing, like
Yeah,
Sammy
man.
playing. They got
Don't let
that-
Samuel Dunkuni like that. Don't let Samuel Dunkuni. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm gonna have it in the background. I'm sure Ahmed's having it in the background, and some of you.
Oh,
guys
I'm
will
not
have
having it in the background, man. We ain't watching that, man.
Damn,
That's not
the
serious
zone
hoops.
interface really bothers you that much?
That's not serious hoops, man. That's not serious hoops, bro.
All right, fair enough. But all right, enough about Club World Cup. We'll discuss Chelsea at the end of the stream probably, when we run through all these topics and stuff. But let's just start off with the first topic that we have, which is oh, I forgot to add this. It's okay. I'll just add it right now. But we have our preseason game. It's going to be a friendly that we're playing before the start of the Premier League, and it might be the only preseason game we actually have.
No, there's a second one.
Oh, there is a second one. All right,
Yep.
so the only one I know right now is that Gazzetta reported that we'll be facing AC Milan a week before the Premier League starts, which is August 17th, according to PYS. August 10th will be Chelsea will be going to Dublin, Ireland, to face AC Milan, which. Hey, I like these preseason games. We're not facing like, Mickey Mouse clubs. We're facing like, proper, competitive teams and stuff, despite what you may think of AC Milan's previous season.
I do wonder why we're traveling to Ireland literally a week before the Premier League season starts, but go off, I guess.
It's not too far, though. It's not like we're traveling to like China or something.
No, but like it's unnecessary travel is more my point.
Yeah, I guess so. AC Milan, friendly. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how much more there is to really add to this topic. It is interesting to see. I mean, Ahmed, do you want to add anything to this? Is this a good friendly? Move on to the next topic. I don't know.
That's a friendly, man. I don't know. It probably gives you a rough date as to which maybe when the team's gonna start coming back to play, because obviously I think the week after the 10th is when our first game of the season is, isn't it?
Yeah. The game that plays in that, theoretically speaking, the team that plays in that friendly that starts should be the team that's going to start in the Premier League.
Yep.
Yeah,
Exactly.
barring maybe one or two players, I would say. But yeah, that's probably gonna give us an idea of who we're gonna see start the first game of the season. Which that schedule's not out yet. The season schedule, right?
I think it's out next week or the week after.
All right, I just know it's soon. So yeah, that'll be something to look out for. And we'll definitely be discussing that schedule as well when that comes out. So a few things. This next topic, there's a lot to go over, so bear with me as I do read a lot. But it has to do with our front of shirt sponsors. So a little bit of an update on that because I'm sure people have been curious. Now we have Champions League, Jordan deal, and all that fun stuff. Let's go over everything that we have here from Lou Class, which is like the one big outlet or not outlet, but the one account that goes over a lot of this stuff. And bear with me if I am lagging, by the way. I just see my thing go a little laggy from time to time. Anyways, so starting off with this first tweet. For those interested, front of shirt sponsor will be posted tomorrow. That's today. Okay. On positive talks about front of shirt sponsor and when they might be finalized. Summary of the short-term front of shirt sponsor, the MAC, and prospects for the future. Okay, so let's go into this. So Chelsea are in talks with a number of suitors from the Middle East and the US, although a long-term deal is not expected to be announced until after the Club World Cup. T. Klein is expected to take an active part in negotiations with major companies during the tournament. I think T. Klein is our current CEO of business, I believe, or something along the lines, business officer. Then we continue on. The club is willing to accept offers of around £55 million a year for front of shirt sponsorship for both men's and women's teams. So it was £50 a year. Now it's gone up to £55 a year. So, hey, it is what it is. The short-term £7 million deal with the MAC as shirt sponsors has come to an end. The partnership has gained notoriety. Both parties are happy with the partnership, although it is unlikely that the MAC will become a long-term front of shirt sponsor, which does stink. I mean, I did like the MAC front of shirt sponsor. It was nice to see it on the front of the shirt, but hey, we'll see what other options there are, and it might not be over yet. There could still be the possibility that that does still happen. The club has a strong unit in this sponsorship category. The club is prioritizing negotiations with other interested parties. The newest project from a leading Dubai developer, Chelsea Residences, sold out within 90 minutes, generating a revenue of excess of £400 million, which is that's really great for Damac. Damac achieved recognition and success in a short space of time. The club won the Conference League final, qualified for Champions League, and the women's team won the league. Additionally, the developer's logo appeared in victorious and widely watched Premier League matches, including Liverpool and Man United. So it did merit a lot of fruit for Damac, which is great for them. Obviously, that's what they want. That's what you want from sponsorship deals. You want to be exposed to a lot of people and a lot of recognizable matches. Or remembered matches, I should say. So Chelsea and Jordan Brand have not entered into further talk despite assurance made last year. It is almost certain that Jordan Brand will not appear on Chelsea or Spurs shirts in the Champions League next season, apart from historic competition winners PSG, who have previously signed a 2-year contract extension. The basketball brand is focusing on designing new collections for Parisians in the upcoming seasons, which are proving very popular. PSG, through its president Nasser Al-Khalifi, approach Nike with a request for a one-off supply of PSG's 4th jersey as the kit supplier. Nike accepted the request to supply Jordan Wings collection. So a lot there. So to summarize it all, let's actually go on to the next tweet. I have another tweet here to also go into the Mail Sport has been told Club World Cup rules made it difficult for Chelsea to find a sponsor purely for this tournament, as they need to have been contracted for the 25-26 campaign also. And then one last one. Chelsea are in talks with front and shirt sponsor suitors for the Middle East and USA. Although long-term deal is not expected to be announced until after Club World Cup, Chelsea are requesting $55 million per year for front and shirt sponsor. So, summary of it all pretty much is that we're negotiating some deals. There are interested parties. We'll see. It probably won't be Damac. We did have a great relationship with Damac. They definitely benefited from the sponsorship with us. And the Jordan deal doesn't look like it's going to happen anymore for us or for Spurs. It looks like they're going to stick with Paris, which I didn't think it was like an exclusivity thing. I thought it was just one of those things that, like, you know, they can go to multiple teams. Or maybe I'm misunderstanding this, the last tweet I just read. But yeah, are we disappointed that Jordan doesn't look like it's going to happen now?
Yeah, a little bit. Like, that would have been sick, just because obviously they've like made great kits for PSG. So that would have been sick. I find it funny, the whole thing about the Club World Cup and like not being able to get this. Mm-hmm. Like, you'd have thought they'd have done the research on this beforehand, but I guess not. You know, I don't know why they would, seeing as obviously isn't that important. But yeah, like, apart from that, excuse me. I think apart from that, like, let's just get the best thing, like get the best possible what's it called, sponsorship, like the most money. I don't really care what it is, just get the most money possible, as long as it's not some like abhorrently bad company or whatever. And I don't really care.
Yeah, you know what, man?
It's just a bit of a mess. Like, the way they've gone about this is just a bit of a mess.
Let me be honest, man. If Jordan became had a kit with us, it would really sum up, the Americanization of Chelsea. You know what I mean? We're having one of the greatest athletes of all time. You know what I mean? As the badge, dang. You know what I mean? The US would have taken over Chelsea, man. The US would have taken over Chelsea. Okay, on a serious note, obviously, ideally, of course, you would want to have like a Jordan kit. You know what I mean? In general, everyone knows they love a Jordan kit. You know what I mean? Nice little shoe. You know what I mean? Nice little shoes that they make. Obviously, I've got quite a few Jordan shoes myself. But listen, they make quality clothing as well. And you would imagine that Chelsea and Jordan there, man. More money, less problems for us. You know what I mean? The transfer market. But I think the thing about this, when it comes to the front of shirt sponsor, you brought in some guys now that are probably meant to be good at negotiating stuff like this. And I can't believe we're in this the 15th of June now. We've not got a guy done. Like, listen, we just won the UCL like what a few weeks. No, we guaranteed us our UCL football. I should say, sorry, a few weeks ago. It should really be quite easy for us to be getting this sort of stuff done. No, or am I just waffling?
I think
the front shirt sponsor for the start of the season, I'm not too worried about. For me, it's just it's just what I said earlier about like the Club World Cup thing, because there was a report that came out that we got told that apparently the reason why the DMAC one was so short was because they wanted to maximize the money we get and to maximize profits, whatever the word was, revenue. They were looking at a front of shirt sponsor for the Club World Cup and then another front of shirt sponsor for the start of the season. Like
that's what I'm saying. Like for me,
now can't get one for the Club World Cup because there's rules behind that. And I'm like, well, did you not do the research?
No due diligence done. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like my thing for me is that if you are planning for yourself to have a new front shirt sponsor that's going to probably be pushing you in for the next few years, yeah, that should have been done quite quickly. You should have already had a negotiation done in place. Whoever that guy was going to be for you to be the front shirt sponsor, such that man, you guarantee you see your football. The week later, all you need to do, each other's lawyers look at the contract again, sign, and now you've got your new front shirt sponsor. That's how easy it should have really been realistically, man. I'll be very honest.
I feel like that's oversimplifying it, though.
Yeah, that's
no. I'm not oversimplifying that because what I'm trying to say is that you negotiate these deals whilst the season is happening, because that's what apparently they were doing, right? You negotiate them such that by the time you reach the point where everything, the fruit's now visible, you guys both know it. You've already negotiated what you need to negotiate now. Maybe you need to go back on it just to make sure everything's okay for both sides, but then you sign that contract, right? That should probably be. That's why I'm not saying necessarily it's oversimplifying it, but I'm also, I'm making the process should be a lot more linear than it is now, where you're still talking to other clubs. Because now it sounds like to me you're being a bit greedy now. If that makes sense, Marshall. I'm not saying you shouldn't be greedy, because of course I want as much money of the club as possible, but that price should have already been had in mind beforehand. Does that make sense?
I don't think it's greed as much as it is uncertainty. I think the issue is the fact that we didn't know if we were going to be in the UCL until the very last day. And then from that very last day, we had 3 weeks to seal a deal. That's the part. And even then, like 3 weeks to seal a deal, but also what's going to happen in the Conference League. So I don't think the Conference League matters as much. I think the thing that mattered the most was the fact that, like, hey, Chelsea, are you going to be in UCL next season or Europa League? Like, pardon me, like, we need to know this. And the fact that we waited to the last minute to get that done, well, we didn't mean to wait, but like the fact is the fact of the matter was that those are the cards we were laid out. We unfortunately had to, put it off to the last minute to guarantee UCL football. Had that been done sooner, maybe that gives us more negotiating time to say, like, hey, listen, we already qualified for UCL. We know we're going to be there next season. Let's negotiate a deal with another team. And I do agree with Scott too. I think there was a bit of ignorance as well that, like, so this Club World Cup is going to count as a continuation of this season, but we have to have sponsors for next season to have it for this Club World Cup. It even sounds confusing just saying it like that, but
I'll be honest, like the whole premise of what they wanted to do when the Mac thing happened, like if this was the idea of like trying to get two sponsors to maximize revenue, that makes complete sense. My thing is, like, you should have researched and done your due diligence on whether this was possible way beforehand. Because I made a comment about this, or I was thinking about this either yesterday or the day before, because I saw a thing about front of shirt sponsor and I randomly thought about that report. And I was like, hang on a second, weren't we meant to have a front of shirt sponsor for the Club World Cup? And if this wasn't going to happen, why couldn't you just extend the DMAC thing just through the Club World Cup? And then go for the because, like I said, at the moment, as it is on currently for me, the 16th of June, like, I'm not too worried at the moment about not having a front shirt sponsor for the league season. Give it a month. Like, if we're having this conversation kind of end of July, okay, then I'll start being like, well, why have we still not got that sorted? It's the same with the outgoings.
Yeah.
When it comes to the outgoings, if we're having the conversation about who are we, who are these guys still here? Are we having trouble getting through these guys? Anything like that? By the end of July, in about a month, middle to end of July, in about a month's time, then we can have the conversation. I'm not having that conversation now. Like I said, for me, it's just a case of the whole the mess up with the not doing their due diligence for the Club World Cup.
Yeah, I think in an ideal world, and this is what I thought too. I thought like, okay, I think this Damac deal. It makes sense that this Damac deal would continue on to Club World Cup. Like, why wouldn't it? Like, why would you have it for such a short amount of time? But if they didn't want to have the Damac deal until next season, or Damac didn't want to, have pay the 55 million pounds because of whatever reason, right? Then it makes sense that maybe they didn't get this done for Club World Cup. It's just unfortunate. It's just an unfortunate circumstance. And I do think it also comes from the fact that, like, you should have probably known that you needed to get a deal done for this, even if it was like well, that's also the other rule. Like, would you have been able to do a short-term deal for just Club World Cup and then a separate deal for the season? Like, that's another one too. Like, I don't think that would have been possible. It doesn't seem like it based on what I'm reading, right? Like, I could be totally wrong about that, but it does stink a little bit. I feel like that's a missed opportunity right there. But at the end of the day, I think it's going to be all right. Like, we are going to have, and we should have, a front of shirt sponsor by the beginning of the season. Like, if we don't, then I am raising eyebrows once again to this ownership and what the hell is even going on, and what are you guys doing in this time where, like, this is showtime. Like, it's an off season. This is time to get business done. This is time to get negotiations done, trades, anything that you could think of in terms of off the pitch. This is the time to get it done. And when the players are on the pitch and the season is going, you should be working towards that and building those bridges and setting the floor ready for, getting all this stuff done. But yeah, it's a missed opportunity. It's a shame, but it is what it is. We'll see how this develops now for, front of shirt sponsor the beginning of the season. Any other thoughts on front of shirt sponsors and stuff before we continue on, folks?
Well, we've got 2 months to get one until, and that's because that's when the league starts. So we'll see what happens.
2 months again, technically speaking, for me tomorrow.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that again. When it comes to like all this talk about front of shirt sponsor, all this stuff, time is ticking, man. You know what I mean? Yep. Much like with transfers and a lot of stuff. It's, let's hope there's action happening quite soon. That's what I always say.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, let's go on to the next topic. And by the way, there's over 60 of you guys watching. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to smash up the like button because it does help out tremendously with the channel and its growth. And yeah, like Jez is saying right here, over 61 of you guys here. Let's get those likes up. Okay, let's continue on to the next topic, which is Chris is not here, which is very unfortunate. Yeah, it is very unfortunate.
There's someone that screamed. Like, what's going on?
What the fuck was that?
That wasn't me.
That wasn't me either.
That wasn't me either, bro.
Came out of nowhere. I guess it just came out of nowhere, I guess. Okay. All right. New kit. So we'll discuss some of these new kits. So obviously we already knew about the new kits. Now we get to see them on the players, and they look pretty good. So this is the pre-match training kit. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but it is what it is. This is it. Maybe you guys like it. I'm not too much.
Is that meant to be some astrology shit? Like, what's going on, man?
Yeah,
I'm a big astrology guy in terms of tarot cards and stuff like this, but this on a shirt, man, it's disgusting, man.
I'm not a fan of it either. I don't know, Scott. Do you like it?
I don't really mind it.
I know some people already purchased it, so
I genuinely don't mind it. I don't really care.
Okay, fair enough. I don't really buy the training kits anyway, so it doesn't bother me too much. But the actual kits are nice. So the goalkeeper kit, trigger warning, Robert Sanchez right there. So yeah, I think
have you seen Sanchez? Sanchez has gone to Turkey, bro. Have you seen that new hairline? He's gone to Turkey, bro.
Maybe. I think that's his normal hairline, though. I'll be honest with you.
We're gonna see soon.
But yeah, we'll see soon. But yeah, the goalkeeper kit usually looks pretty nice.
That is trash, man. I told you the away kit is gonna be the best kit. I told you this already, bro.
This kit, I would say, without the front of shirt, looks really nice. Sponsor, I would say if I were anyone, I'd probably get it now without the front of shirt sponsor. This is it with Nicholas Jackson wearing it. I
get
think
him
it
out of
looks
my
nice.
face, man. Get him out of my face, man.
I can zoom in more if you want.
No, thank you, man.
You sure?
Listen, man. I've seen that picture of Delap and him on their weak foots, man. Bloody hell, man. Academy training, man. Academy. Listen, academy training, man, is different, bro. Academy training different, man. That's what I'm saying.
Nicholas Jackson.
Can't
This
lie, man.
triggers me.
That-
You got
genuinely,
Twitter
that
tacticals
genuinely-
analyzing photos for technique. It's the most
I
ridiculous
can't
thing
even
I've
lie
ever
to you,
heard of.
man. That actually is night and day. And that's not even cooking Jackson, because I know Jackson obviously didn't come from an academy, so you know he came from humble means. So you know what? I'm not here to cook Jackson, but that is crazy, bro. The night and day difference of the week.
Oh yeah. You know,
It's
that's why I
actually-
said like the lap is like that's why I like the lap. The lap is you could tell like Duran had the same thing. Like when I saw Duran play and I saw his technique, I was like, oh shit, like this guy actually's gonna score goals. Like he actually knows it. Like he's got the technique for shooting. Like I was saying the same thing about Delap. Like I'm not surprised. The guy can finish. Like you could see it. Cole wearing it as well. The away kit. Ooh, look at Esteval doing a flip over there. Anyways, so yeah, Cole wearing the kit as well. Yeah, I like this kit. I like all the kits, to be honest. They're pretty nice. I want to see what the numbers look like behind it too, because obviously we're gonna have to alternate between this and the home kit. And this is the home kit. I think the home kit looks really nice. Looks very, very nice.
I think again, and I've said this before. The away kit generally looks the best if you see it in real life, and I've said this before. On camera, it looks the best in my personal opinion. The away kit as well. You know what it is though, and I've said this before. I feel like our home kits, if you see them in real life, they look pretty like below average. It's just that they're photogenic kits. That's what I've realized that Nike's been doing recently. They've been making their kits just like, if you look at them in the camera, if you look at them in the 8K, 4K of lights, they look amazing. But if you look at them, like with your own eyes, 2020 vision, trash.
I get maybe, yeah. I like them. I think they look really nice. I think they're gonna look nice in person too. You know, we got the lap with the kit as well. Little side profile. I like the font of it too. Like it's a nice little change from the typical just impact bold. Sorry, graphic designers out there, you probably know.
Apparently, it's like based off like our an early notes kit. Apparently, like
it looks more classy. I like it.
No. Listen. Apparently, it's very similar. It's based off like the 2000 kit or like the 1990 2000 kit has got similar handwriting to this.
I like the handwriting pretty much. Is what I'm saying. Like I think it looks nice. Yeah. What do we think? Oh wait, one more thing. And I don't know, what is it about? Is it a UK thing? Like, are you guys not allowed to show the guns either? Like, what's going on, man? Like, why is everyone wearing sleeveless shirts with the sleeves?
It's because it allows them to put a sweat on, bro. That's the whole point.
But it's the summer, bro. Like,
no, but no.
out.
The whole point of wearing that, Marshall, is to get you to sweat, to get you to actually be like. That's the whole point of it, Marshall. So
yeah, I mean, move around, you'll sweat fine, bro. You don't need the Under Armour to do it. It just looks ridiculous. It looks ridiculous to me. But shout out Sugo, KDH, and who else had the sleeves?
I think it was just two of them, wasn't there?
Oh, and Caicedo. Yeah, man. Big up to them. You know, not wearing Under Armour under their sleeveless stuff. But yeah, and that's I think this is Philadelphia. Yeah, they're training in Philadelphia. It looks like.
Yeah, we're based in Philadelphia.
Oh, so Philadelphia's gonna be the home.
Yeah, that's where the training camp is.
Oh, nice.
Like,
that's
where
great.
we're based.
Oh man, I should go to Philly and watch him train. I won't be allowed. I don't think so. I don't think it's open training. But yeah, what do we think of the kits, guys? Like, I mean, I think they look nice. Minus, the training kit. Oh,
it's saying oral for Sanchez. Someone should ban Caicedo. Someone should ban Jez for like 5 minutes, man.
Didn't we already time out Jez the other day?
He needs another one. He needs another one.
All right. Well, Ahmed, I think you said you like the away kit in person, but the home kit maybe not so much.
Yeah, I think the home kit's average.
Talk
yeah.
to me.
I haven't really seen the home kit. I don't really remember the home kit, I'll be honest.
There, I'll show you right now.
Yeah, it's alright.
Yeah, we'll show you
It's quite nice.
with another player. How about that?
Wow, Reece James is gonna make it really look cool, isn't it, boys?
To be fair, I do actually like it. To be fair, it does look clean, and I quite like the away kit as well.
Yeah, the away kit looks nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I prefer the home kit. I'll be honest.
I like them both. And I can't remember what the third kit looked like. The third kit was supposed to be the black one, right? The black one that's a total 91, the more retro one. We haven't seen what it's officially gonna look like yet, I don't think. But yeah, I am excited to see what that's gonna look like. No, I got the match in the background. That's why I'm slightly distracted.
I was gonna say that's why I'm currently distracted. I'm watching
Yeah.
I'm not watching the Kafkas, you know. I'm not here to hype myself up for a young 18.
Ahmed's a hater, basically.
Yeah. Ahmed doesn't.
I'm not even hating. I'm just,
properly
you know, I'm just gonna wait to see him in a Chelsea shirt. I don't want.
No, I thought you'd watch for Samu Nation.
Yeah.
Listen, Samu Nation, I already know he's cooking, so there's no even need for me to even look at that, man.
He just lost a header there.
Yeah.
Don't worry, man. Listen, he's gonna score. I guarantee he scores this game.
I'm gonna move it.
Bro, the way I can't lie, he kind of gives me great Carly vibes. The way he moves around the football pitch.
Rank Malouda, Duff, Robin, and Zola. I would probably say
Zola first.
I think
Zola.
Trickery Wire. I would actually
it's
say
gotta be for me. I'm gonna go Zola, Duff, Robin, Malouda.
I would probably say Robin, Zola, Duff, and then Malouda.
How are you gonna put Robin ahead of Zola? Why isn't Zola first for you?
For me, Robin.
Ooh.
Listen, I think Robin's just better than Zola. I think for me personally, I would probably Zola.
But surely you gotta take into consideration, like, you know.
I think in terms of trickery and skill, yes, Zola's definitely better. But I think Robin, overall package.
How did you miss that?
Overall package, bro. Overall package for me.
Robin
is just different, bro. You couldn't stop Robin, bro.
Yeah, Robin was a menace, but he also wasn't available very often.
I bet Ahmed, what should he say? JC, I'm a serious man. I don't watch Open FC, bro.
He didn't watch Elise. He didn't watch any Club World Cup. He's a fraud. Yeah, no, I think the away kit is pretty fire.
See, Kai respects me. Hey, Kai, man, I knew you knew ball, man. I knew Kai knew ball, man. Robin is just different.
How is Nah, get the hell out of here, Kai. What the fuck?
The problem also you need to realize,
Zola is just a Chelsea gimmick.
The problem also is, listen, Zola's prime.
Zola was cold for us.
Zola was cold for us, not get twisted, but he came to us. I wouldn't say necessarily he just came to us out of his prime. Does that make sense? Like his prime was already happening. He had his prime in Italy. Does that make sense, Marshall?
I mean, I guess just because he had his prime doesn't mean he wasn't great for Chelsea, though.
No.
And we know the Premier League.
I'm not saying that he's not as great for Chelsea, but I'm saying if I look at it player for player, Robin when he played for us, bro, it was just different, bro. What he did for us was different.
I was gonna say if we're using that same point, like Robin's
Wait, go
prime,
for it, guys, real quick. I gotta use the bathroom real quick.
like Robin's prime wasn't at Chelsea either.
Marshall out, Bridge out, Levy out, Frank was out, Cult of Ozempic, Frankie out. Nice, that's manifested Marshall leaving. There you go, Baker, man.
But yeah, Zola will always top that list for me.
I've got to go Robin, sadly.
Yeah, but like I'm not surprised because you.
I don't even. I'm a big fan of Zola, you know, personally. I was able to watch Zola, but he just.
Are you sure?
Robin, just for me, man. I always say when I used to watch Robin play, there was just something about him, bro. That wow, you know what I mean? Zola, you could say is the same as well, but Robin, it was just different, man. It was different for me.
Interesting.
The thing for me, I feel like it's very sad to be putting Duff that because I actually like Duff. He's a very consistent player for us. He needs to play for us, especially when under Mourinho. You know what I mean? You know, so big up. Like he used to produce for us on like a regular rate. Duff in terms of like, assist and like how he used to help the team. So I always like to show love to Duff.
But are we looking at career wise? Or
no. I'm just speaking about. I was just speaking about Duff just right now as a player.
Okay, go for it.
I was just saying like No. EPL, I'm not saying that Zola isn't better than Robin. I'm just talking about if you look at what they did at Chelsea for us. I love Robin, so that's just me.
But what did Robin do at Chelsea for us?
He actually played quite a few good games for us, bro. What are you talking about? He won a Premier League with us twice.
Oh fuck, my mouse. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like Zola impacted Chelsea legacy more, like the history of the club.
Of course, Zola. I listen.
Yeah, that's why. To me, Zola's on top of this list.
No, I hear what you mean, but
yeah.
I think with me, if I look at what was done, he was injured a lot of the time for us, which is fair. That's
what I'm saying.
But when he played for us, he was amazing, bro. That's one thing I will say.
I mean, he was an amazing player. Let's not get it wrong. Like, I mean, that's why I agree with what Kai said. He at one point he was one of the best wingers in the world, but Zola maybe never reached those heights. Maybe. I also don't agree.
I don't know. I would have to disagree.
I don't know about that either.
I think,
what a save! Oh
because
my
the thing
days.
about Zola was, if I'm not mistaken,
your boy Sam
was
freaking
before he came to Chelsea. Wasn't Zola was like a legend, wasn't he, in Serie A before he even came to us, right?
Oh no, that wasn't Samu.
Zola was a legend before
Chelsea.
Zola was a legend before he even came to us in the Serie A. Because I remember him and who was the other Italian player who recently passed away. That was a former Chelsea player of ours.
Vialli?
Vialli, yeah, Simon Vialli actually used to play together. I think it was Florentino, wasn't it? They used to play with each other with, right? And they won the league there. They won the Serie A there together, didn't they? In Florentino. If I'm not mistaken.
Maybe I could look it up in 2 seconds.
I'm looking that up right now.
Okay, you can look it up then.
For me, the deciding factor on this this debate is only one of these players is almost universally across the board considered for Chelsea.
It was Palmer. Marshall was Palmer.
Palmer. Okay.
Yeah, there's only one of the two players that we're talking about that is almost universally across the board considered when you talk about a Chelsea all-time 11.
Yeah. And that's always Zola.
Yep.
Always.
No, yeah. I actually forgot Zola. Sorry, Zola actually won the City. Oh, Maradona. Fucking hell. I forgot he played at Napoli, you know. I actually forgot he played at Napoli before he went to Parma. That's actually kind of crazy. Sorry. See, I remembered that from somewhere. Yeah, that was kind of crazy.
Let me look at his achievements.
So he won a Serie A with Napoli. He won the Italian Super Cup with Parma. I think there was another thing that he also won with Parma before he came to us as well.
He won Player of the Year with Chelsea for 2 seasons. Football of the Year in England 1 season. UEFA Super Cup. Fucking won the UEFA Super Cup with Chelsea 1 season.
He played with us in the late 90s, remember? He played
English League Cup. He won the Carling Cup. 2-time winner of the FA Cup.
Everything
Super
but
Cup
the
winner,
Premier League.
That looks like the Shield, so he won the Shield. He didn't win the league with Chelsea, but definitely won plenty of trophies with Chelsea. So you gotta respect him, man.
No, but I always said Zola was definitely a Chelsea legend. My thing was always, maybe it's because you know it is. My bias is just a little bit of a Robin bias. That's all I have. So that's what I would probably say.
Yeah, just like Kai. Kai has a Robin bias. It's very.
But I always say, but for me, Zola definitely is top tier. Anyone that says Zola is in top tier,
of course,
is lying to yourselves, bro.
Of course. Zola
it's how I rated Ruud Gullit because, like, you know, my dad was a big Ruud Gullit fan growing up, so I've always watched his tapes.
But I think Ruud Gullit made peak Ruud Gullit was AC Milan Ruud Gullit, in my opinion.
Yes, it was AC Milan Ruud Gullit. He won the fucking Ballon d'Or there. No, but he was the old man when he came to Chelsea. That's fine. I always say I'm happy about that. I don't care.
Yeah. But let's be real too. Like you say, Mickey Mouse trophies, but Robin wasn't really he helped Chelsea win some of the big trophies he won.
I'll be honest, Joe Cole is a bigger legend than Robin by a mile away because he literally secured us.
I agree with that.
He secured us the title, bro. He secured us a title, bro, against Liverpool. Forget that too, by the way. The 2-0 where he scored those 2 goals against Liverpool. I think it was in 05
I'm gonna
06.
look up Robin's achievements real quick, just to make sure I'm not waffling completely. Because everything Robin did, like peak Robin was Bayern Munich Robin.
Yep.
That was peak Robin. Premier League with Chelsea in 06 and 05, so 2-time Premier League champion with Chelsea. And 05, 07 won the Carling Cup at the time and the Shield. So, like, the Premier League, did he help that much? I mean, he was injured for a lot of it. That's the other problem.
He was able to help because like
he did obviously help in games, but
Damien Duff definitely had a better. I agree with you on top, but Damien Duff had more of effect than the Chelsea career.
That's why I put Duff in
because
second.
Duff used to be
or no, I put
left
Duff in
winger.
third.
Duff was a left winger like the vast majority of the time in 04-05 to be specific as well.
Yeah. What? Okay. Go, Jacob. I love you, but not when you say this.
I always see. Sorry, Marshall. I know. Scott heard me say this previously, but I really feel like Damien Duff doesn't get enough respect. By the way.
No, and I'll be honest with you. I can't speak on it too much.
No, because like I feel like he kind of is like one of the forgotten players, that played for us, and that had like that was really consistent. I was like a major part of like of the teams of that team for us, bro. So like I think him. To be fair, to a lesser extent, Good Johnson to a lesser extent, I would probably add to that list too, because like I don't feel like they get spoken about. Those two in particular,
these are like
don't get spoken about.
These are like pre-Roman era players.
No. These are post-Roman players, bro. What are you talking about? Damien Duff is a post-Roman player. He won the league of us.
But that was in the beginning of Roman's era, right? Damien Duff, but he was still in the team before Roman, right?
Yeah.
Or am I getting confused?
I think Good Johnson just came in before the team. Before Roman, and I think Duff was there before Roman. Duff was definitely there before Roman, if I'm not mistaken. I'm fairly certain Duff was. People talking correct me, but I'm fairly certain Duff was also forgotten. Right? Hasselbank actually gets a lot more love.
Bought by Roman. Oh shit!
That's what I'm. The point. The thing is, a lot of people like may remember Duff now more so for his time when he was at Fulham. Because I remember Duff when he went to Fulham as well. But like Duff, like he doesn't not get enough love. Him and Good Johnson, in my personal opinion. There's another midfielder that we used to have as well, that whose name escapes me, that used to have like a similar hashtag to me, but he's like somewhere in Spain or like Portuguese guy.
Thiago.
I think it might be him. Yeah, he's another one that gets forgotten about as well. But there's like a few guys there that like have been like forgotten in the annals of time, if that makes sense. That's the best way I like to.
Right, Thiago went to play for Atletico Madrid after he left us. I think I don't know if it was straight after he left us.
Yeah, I think
he might be another name that gets forgotten a lot too. To be honest with you.
No, Jeremy doesn't.
Jeremy doesn't. Gets forgotten.
Jeremy doesn't. Trust me, brother. But not because of him, like as a player.
I mean, I can't really disagree with this, but Essien always gets a shout in these.
The thing for me, like, the thing for me is that everyone here knows my favorite midfielder at Chelsea. Yeah, is joint between Lampard and Ballack. But my problem with, but I always say with Ballack is that Ballack was a lot more older when he came. It was a latter stage Ballack, even though he was still producing.
Ballack was better at everything.
That's why I always say Makelele, Lampard, and maybe Fabregas might be the one I would probably go.
Fabregas
to be fair with like Ballack, he ended up like being turned into a different type of midfielder.
That's
also true.
That's also
true. It was it Mourinho when it was there when he came in. He got turned into a different type of midfielder, like where it's just like he'd gone from being basically what Lampard was, to being like a deep line guy who would dictate like almost a Jorginho type or a Fabregas type. Jesus fucking Christ, Palmeiras can't attack the shit.
Yeah, I saw that. Mm-hmm.
These guys absolutely stink. But yeah, it was interesting to see Ballack.
That's why I always say Fabregas for me. I'd probably put him in there more just because of that. Because like I'll have many in terms of that. But like Essien, I always say that shout for Essien and Ballack all the time. But I love Ballack because he was genuinely my favorite Chelsea midfielder we've ever had. I don't care what anyone says. Even Lampard, I might put him a little bit above him only because like I love the player growing up. That's just me. Oscar's another one, that I love to show love to as well. Big up to Oscar.
Yeah. I mean, you also got to take into consideration in N'Golo Kante.
I was about to say, Kante did
you can't forget Kante.
Well. The thing about Kante is that it's always a competition between McLeary and him. So it's like, I don't want to know. I feel like that's too defensive for me.
You got what's it called? Lampard in there.
I know, but like I feel like McLeary can just do it enough. But I feel like McLeary can do that job already. So for me, I'm not really, you know what I mean? I'm not, I don't necessarily need Kante in there. I would say if you want to swap Kante for McLeary, I don't mind, but it has to be either or for me because I want the other two guys to be a bit more of an attacking
This is
threat.
probably recency bias. I'll admit this, and I'd have to really think about it. And we could probably do this kind of show another time. But I would almost contemplate it for the sake of balance. I would almost contemplate Kante, Cesc, and Lampard. That would be my midfield three almost. Because you get the creativity, the workhorse of Kante, and then the goals from Lampard.
No, CFC, the CFC for life. Yeah, I get what you mean, bro. But I think the reason why I say swap her Makelele for Kante is because I think Kante could do the Makelele job. That's the difference. I think he could do that job of like controlling stuff. You can make it out where Fabregas can be the deep line playmaker in the 6, and then you just have Kante be the box that he used to be doing his job. And you got Lampard, who could always used to do a great job for us defensively, but can do a great job for us going forward too.
But yeah, that was a nice little discussion there. Jesus Christ, Palmeiras. Okay, it's a nice little discussion there. Okay. But all right, let's. So we got a little bit of news to discuss, some rumors that have been going around, so on and so forth, that I wanted to bring up to the surface and see if we'll probably breeze through it because there's not much to discuss. And I think for the most part, we're going to agree on most of these things happening. But there's a few little bits of outgoing news that I wanted to bring to the show and kind of get it out there just so people who may or may not know are aware of it as well. Some of it's a little old, so bear with me as well. I've been holding on to it, but there's been so much happening in recent weeks. This is finally like a catch-up week for me. So let's go over the first tweet I have here. This came out a few days ago from Simon Phillips and Zark Cancella, reporting here that Raheem Sterling, Disasi, Kepa, Petrovic, Broja, Felix, Vega, Chilwell, Carney, Ugochukwu, and more, and we know there's a big laundry list of players, are going to be likely available for sale this summer. I think one of the things to note is if you had a player in mind, to know that player may or may not be on the list. But the obvious culprits are on this list. I think a few people are probably surprised that Vega is still on the list, but I think he kind of dug his grave.
Anyone that
Petrovic,
says
obviously.
anyone that says Vega, that's surprised by Vega, is smoking crack, because he legit broke his bridges at Chelsea in that entire transfer window, saying he literally was forcing the move to Juve. Then, when it looks like it wasn't happening, tried to repair the bridge by saying, "Oh, I want to come back to Chelsea next season."
I'll be real. He didn't really burn any bridges like that, like bad. Like, I'm gonna be honest. It's just he like in these owners' eyes, like it's irreparable. What he did wasn't even that bad in the grand scheme of things. It's just like
no. I get it from a player perspective, but I feel like from a club perspective, he essentially destroyed his bridges, bro, because they weren't even trying to like violate him or anything like that. They were like, okay, we'll try to sort out that loan move for you. He then tried to force that loan move to happen, saying that he only wanted to ever play for Juve. And then he tried to repair the bridge when it looked like it wasn't happening. And then it did happen.
Yeah, because remember, I remember the way it happened was sloppy because he said he wanted a permanent move. And then when the permanent move didn't happen, he was like, I only wanted a loan.
He wanted a permanent move.
No, he was looking because initially Juve was looking at a loan of obligation, wasn't it, guys? That was the initial thing. It was a loan of obligation, guys.
So I think there was that Dortmund deal, but Dortmund initially wanted to buy him, and he straight up said, like, I don't know where this come from. At least from what I remember, he only ever wanted a loan. Like he initially wanted to be able to play centre back because of the whole playing for Portugal thing.
Yes.
Then he wanted a loan move, basically.
And it was Dortmund. Thanks for reminding me.
Also, because like he was never, it wasn't even just the left, like it was the centre back thing was a large part of it, but also he just wasn't playing outside of Conference League.
Malo Gusto was favoured on the left over him, which was
100%. So he wasn't playing, and then he wanted that move to Dortmund on loan. They tried to buy him, like there was a talk of potential, and he straight up said, "No, I want to go on loan so I can come back and play for Chelsea." He just wanted to play at centre back, so he got experience there, because I think that's where he wants to play long term. Then the Dortmund thing fell through, and then Juve came in. Yeah, so I think, as Fett said, for me, I think a lot of it was overblown in terms of people thought, "Oh, he just wants to leave. He wants to leave." It wasn't that he just wanted to go out and get on loan and play, like at centre back. But I think in the club's mind, that's him burning a bridge at the end of the day, which I think is stupid. Like, because at the moment,
it's a little ridiculous too.
I think it's our back. He's our backup left back, and and he was a good player. But is what is if you replace him, then I don't really care.
He was always going to be a backup, though. That's the thing, right? Like,
oh no, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Just Kai say he's not the level we need. Like, he was always a backup, anyways. Like, who cares what level? Like, as a level backup, I don't really have standards for backups.
No, 100%. It's also a thing for me. I'm like,
is bullying these defenders. Oh my god. Okay, go ahead.
You know what it is, man. I'm just looking at this list, boys. Yeah, because like I think the bigger thing was inevitable.
The Petrovic one, I think, pissed people off. Obviously.
Yeah, but sadly, that also seemed inevitable, whether we liked it or not.
Yeah, true.
Right. I'm just looking at level of difficulty to move on. Extreme difficulty for Raheem Sterling. Fairly easy to remove Disasi. Fairly easy to remove Kepa. Fairly easy to remove Petrovic.
Kepa's already gone.
Yeah, Broya
already gone. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. But like Broya, fairly easy to move on. Unironically, Felix can be fairly easy to move on. The question is about what price are we going to accept for him to be done, right? Vega fairly easy as well. Chilwell, I'm actually going to say medium difficulty.
Oh no, that's very hard.
Very hard. Fair enough.
The wages.
Carney Chukwuemeka.
Age.
It's not just the wages, bro. That loan last season killed any hope he had of moving like to a decent club. Like you couldn't get ahead of Tyreek Mitchell in a Palace team that were like 12.
Kafkas, if you don't get the hell out
man,
of here,
listen, Kafkas, man, he shouldn't
Portuguese tag heavy for Alexis, bro.
Listen, Carney is going to be fairly easy to move on. Leslie, sadly, will be very easy to move on.
I mean, listen, that's the thing too. That okay, so let me continue these tweets so I can come back to this. So Raheem Sterling will return to Chelsea when his Arsenal loan ends in June 30th. A conversation on his future is planned for this month with a departure anticipated. It is not expected Sterling will travel to America for Club World Cup. And then lastly here, also just to give some info on this, Alfie Gilchrist, who was on loan at Sheffield United last season, is expected to explore his options. So he's probably on his way out as well. Pure profit, might as well. I don't think this player. I don't see the talent.
Why are you hating on Gilchrist? No, don't do that.
I just don't see the talent in this player, man. He's salt and pepper to me, man. He's bland as shit.
Listen. I think for me, yeah, Gilchrist genuinely is actually a decent player. He's not like obviously Chelsea level, I'd probably say, but he's definitely like some level of like a lower league Premier League team player initially, right? Because I think he'll do well. He had a great loan.
Chelsea. Just sell him.
He had a great loan for Sheffield. Right, United. I don't think he's going to be that bad. You know, I'll probably be honest with you. He's probably in 2 to 3 years' time a name that's going to come up again, yeah, as a player that's like kind of grown and like definitely like of higher quality.
Would you keep him at Chelsea?
Listen, I would send them out on loan. Maybe Strasbourg might be a good place for him. I'll be honest.
Sure.
People can hate me for saying this, but I actually think he'll be be one of those. Really,
as a center back, he might not be too bad, but
he's under 6 foot.
Yeah,
yes,
bro. Like
Koundé's under 6'2",
and he plays right back. Thanks for proving my point.
But Scott, like I'm looking at our center backs, right? Like Chalobah, we'll talk about Chalobah in a bit. Like there's a possibility he stays, but I'm keeping Chalobah over Gilchrist for the future. I'm keeping Colwell over Gilchrist for the future. Mamadou Sarr, we'll see, but he looks like I've seen more potential in Mamadou Sarr than I have in Gilchrist. I'd keep him for the future. Fofana. Time will tell with these injuries. I mean, I don't know if they're going to move him on. We'll also discuss him shortly, but if he stays, he's obviously better than Gilchrist. Like, I don't know. There's nothing that really impresses me with this kid. And plus, we might get Gahey or potentially a Branthwaite if those links go anywhere. Araujo is another link that we've been linked to as well. I don't know. It's just they're better options than Gilchrist to me.
He's also like
sell Jordan Benson.
We talk or it gets talked about a lot in terms of Disasi and like where he gets played and how managers see him. This Gilchrist like centre back thing, he's played for 2 clubs now. If you like include us and Sheffield United, hasn't played centre back once. He's a right back, so I'm going to view him as a right back.
He's our fourth right back at Sheffield.
Yes, he was.
He played as a right
back
at Sheffield United.
Never mind then. Get him going.
He's cool. So he's a right back. Yeah. He's 4th choice right back. He's 4th choice right back. Like he's
get him gone, bro.
What? He's worse than Josh. He's worse than Gusto. And he's worse than Rick.
He's not getting in over Josh. He's not getting in. No. I would even say he doesn't even get in over Gusto.
No, he doesn't.
I'll be honest with you. If we get Gusto at his best, he doesn't get in over Gusto, and he doesn't get over Reese. So what? He's got there's no home for you at Chelsea, my man. You find another club. But coming back to this list, right? I know that Dortmund want Carney.
Yes.
If somehow, some way, they can use that as leverage. Oh,
They're
my
never going
signal's
to
going.
buy him.
I don't know if they're going to buy him, but if he
Let
can
me
be
tell you
used
this
as
for free.
leverage for Gittins, it's still a possibility.
That's not happening, Marshall. I'm going to tell you
Yeah,
this
it's
for
not happening.
I'm telling you this for free, Marshall. Unless I don't think the club can ever get the release clause for Carney, in my personal opinion. Right?
Not from Dortmund. They might get it from another club.
I don't know who that club's going to be either. I'll be honest with you. He's
Like they can get it from a Premier League club. If
He didn't have a bad season at Dortmund.
I don't.
He was injured a lot.
Yeah, he was injured a lot. That's
Was
the
he
problem.
injured a lot for Dortmund?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The problem for me, Scott, is that I don't know what club that's going to be that's going to pay 40 M's for him. That's just
I think all he needs to have is one good season. If he has a season where he started for us before the injury, like if he can stay relatively fit.
The problem for me,
he can have a season like that. We'll get 40.
The thing for me, sorry, Scott. I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm gonna ask you a question, Scott. Quite easy, yeah.
Sucks.
Do you think the club is willing to use another loan thing, right? To allow Carney to maybe get that one season to send for 4 M's. That's the thing, because that's what you have to ask yourself, right?
If it's in the Premier League, yes. Like if it's an international loan, I don't know because it depends on how they're going to use the international loan.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I don't know. But the thing is, Dortmund are never going to buy him. They're also not going to include him in anything for Gittins. We're talking about one of the, in terms of selling clubs, they might be the elite in terms of making their money. They're going to make what they want to make on Gittins, regardless of anything else. And the thing is even if they buy Gittins, they're still not going to buy Carney for more than 20 mil. Or 25 mil. So you just got to wait and see with him. As I said, it's probably going to be a Premier League club. Or the other thing the club would be smart. I say the club would be smart to do, but with the injuries, man, it's if he can have a season where he can stay fit, one thing the club would be smart to do is to sell him to a club like Dortmund and have a fat sell-on clause, like a 50% sell-on clause or a 40% sell-on clause. Because if you send him to Dortmund and he actually manages to stay fit, he is going to cook, and you could potentially they'll potentially try and sell him for 60 or something like that, and you get you basically get what you would have made on him if you told him for 40. You just got to wait a little while.
Mm-hmm. Another one on that list too that, I mean, I'm not surprised. The writing was kind of on the wall, but I'm sure some people are a little disappointed. Is Ugochukwu? Ugochukwu's on that list. I don't think he was ever really given a fair shot at Chelsea.
I'll be honest with you, man. Ugochukwu, I don't care what anyone tells me. That brother, in the next 2 years, he's gonna be shining somewhere, bro. He's gonna be cooking somewhere, yeah. And people will be like,
he was cooking in the league with Southampton, brother. He'll be fine.
I promise you, bro. He's gonna go somewhere and he's gonna look like a fucking $1 million.
No, I'm not happy with the window.
No, and I forgot to answer your question. As of right now, I'm giving the window a fucking 3 out of 10.
You know, as I said right now, my
3, maybe a 2.
Yeah.
I think for me, Kai, I'm gonna tell you this right now. I'm not gonna judge the window until June because they've given me a deadline until the end of 2 weeks.
Yeah, we're also very much not done with the window, so
I'm waiting 2 weeks, man. I'm expecting all income in the next 2 weeks because that's what they've been telling me.
Even if Gittins comes in, it's probably a 4 out of 10 because I don't really rate Gittins like that.
Gittins coming in.
Oh my god,
doesn't change the score for me. In fact, if we get in for 60, I might even lower it. It might actually.
Marshall, I felt the Esteval moment. 0 glaze afterwards. I told you, man.
He's actually been. From what I saw, I just turned it off a few minutes ago. But from what I saw, he's actually playing all right. He's the only one.
He just missed a chance. It was a hard chance.
To answer Capcast's opinion, I genuinely think Ugochukwu will probably be a part of a top 6 sides like 6. He could be. He has that potential to be someone of that level, in my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Esteval almost scored. It was blocked. Yeah.
No, but regardless of this year, I think with just Chukwuemeka, his future is just very hard to see right now. We just have to wait and see what clubs are kind of become interested in him, if that makes sense. Because it's gonna actually, I think with him, unironically, it's actually gonna require his agent to do a lot of legwork to get him to move on.
Mm-hmm. Clubs will inquire about Ugochukwu, especially because that position.
No Ugochukwu. I'm talking about Chukwuemeka. Sorry, I was mentioning Chukwuemeka. I think Ugochukwu is guaranteed to get.
Yeah, Ugochukwu will get a move. You saw the way he played for Southampton last year, when Juric came in, like he was actually playing well. Like he could get a move to like he get a move to a decent French league team or a decent Premier League team, he'd be fine.
Pochettino really fucked them though. That's the sad.
No,
thing.
I don't think Pochettino.
No, Pochettino was the one that played him when he just came back from injury.
He fucked him in that sense, but I don't think he didn't. That didn't hamper his career. Like you saw this season, like he was fine when he played. When he actually played, the club fucked him. Like the club did wrong by him.
Yes, the club fucked him too, bro. The club legit fucked him.
I think both things can be true. I think
the club fucked him. Like in terms of his, like Marshall, he played for the worst team, arguably the Premier League has ever seen.
Yeah.
And held his own and was good in the Premier League against Premier League midfields.
That's what I'm saying. I promise you, Kafkas, bro. He would slap. You know, in Villa, bro. At Villa, bro, he would actually cook. You know,
Villa or Newcastle, bro. He would do bits. Like to be the
He would actually even allow, bro. He would allow Bruno to do his attacking shit. You could have Fernando do his shit too.
I was gonna say, if you ever wanted to not necessarily move on from Joe Linton, but make him a bench option, and get Bruno doing a bit more of what he was doing at Lyon.
Yeah.
But Leslie in that midfield is at the base, and have Fernando.
My question, you know what, Scott? I just don't know if the club is willing to sell to them. That's the thing, because if they do,
I don't think they care.
The thing is, I would usually say yes because of what they did with both Mount and Havertz, but I do wonder because of the price, how much they would then sell to them. How much do you think they would sell Ugo Chukwu for?
Like 40 mil.
To United, they would try to get Garnacho.
We bought it for 40, you know. Actually, people forget
that. No, we bought it for 26 or like 20 something.
Was it? I thought we bought it for 40 million euros.
No, it was 20 something. It was like 26, I want to say. But yeah, we
potentially also sell him to Strasbourg.
Ahmed, we were literally trying. We sold one player and tried to sell another player to Villa, who literally finished in the Champions League.
Oh, was it? My apologies, then, guys. I don't know why. Why did I think it was 40?
Yeah, we sold Matson and tried to sell Gallagher to Villa, who also we were battling with Champions League for. So I don't think there's any issue of us selling him to sending him to Villa or Newcastle. As long as we get the money, I don't think we.
The thing is, if you want to sell him to a Villa, for example, and if the club wants a Morgan Rogers type, maybe making him a make weight in that deal would probably be a good idea, right? That would be.
I'll be real. The Villa doesn't make as much sense to me unless they're going to move on from one of their midfielders, because they've got too many midfielders. That's probably the one position where they're fine in. So it's unless they're gonna, because I think they've offered Kamara a new contract.
Probably, yeah.
They've already got Onana, who's basically a nailed-on starter. Tielemans at the moment in this system looks like a nailed-on starter.
McGinn. And the question is if that club is ready to move on from McGinn, and I don't think they are.
No, I don't think they are either, because he's such a Swiss Army knife for them in terms of he can play midfield, he can play on either wing.
Yeah,
in terms of in Emery systems, I don't think he fits as much. The Newcastle one, though, for me, especially if you want depth for playing Champions League as well, or if you the other one that could make sense as well, just because of depending on if you want to have a contingency plan for when he eventually leaves, is you send him to play Palace.
I would agree with this comment, by the way, Kafkas. The problem for me is that the selling of Ugo Chukwu, I always say is a very risky one, because if Lavia then has another season as he's having where he's just extremely injury prone, he's losing. It's probably moving on from Lavia and then losing Ugo Chukwu. Is that the right move from a club?
No, but Ahmed, it's what you don't understand. It's fine because we've got Dario Isugo. So
no, because the thing is, people say Isugo is the Caicedo replacement, right? That's how much I'm going to follow their logic.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, if you follow their logic, right?
Who's the Lavia replacement in this team?
That's what I'm asking.
Santos, I believe.
Apparently, Santos.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So the thing for me though is that if Lavia is not fit enough for you, I don't know. I don't think for me losing Ugo Chukwu, and then you lose Lavia because you just find out that he's just not going to be able to do a 38 game, let alone even a 30 game season 4.
No, but then Ahmed, we got Santos, so it's calm though, G.
Yeah, but Santos can do everyone. But then if a Isugo doesn't bang, then it's still down to 3 midfielders. You know what I mean? It's still down to.
I get you, bro. I'll be honest. This whole Isugo thing, I'm kind of just trolling. I don't know
that's why. That's why for me, Isugo. Yeah, it's I've watched a thing of Isugo, and I'm going to be very honest. He's very raw.
Wow. Oh my God. Palmeiras just missed 2 shots. Oh my days. Oh my. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Listen, I know you don't rate Isugo, but you put him in a better team. He'll. I don't know how that didn't go in, guys. You put him in a better tean, and you'll see.
But that's the thing, also. Like I feel like with Isugu, yeah, you are taking maybe the term I like to use is an unnecessary risk there. You don't need to take that level of risk for me.
What risk? He's a backup.
No, because as in, like, I get what Ahmed's saying. Like, that's 22 million, because I think we've signed it for 22. That's 22 you didn't need to spend because you had that player there, or a player of that type already in terms of Leslie. I think we've seen this season, and I think we saw in little spurts under Poch, like when he played. Defensively, Leslie's solid. Like, I think the thing for me with Leslie was all of a case of like the progression stuff of like, can he progress the ball? Can he move with the ball? And I think we saw in the preseason before he went on loan, when he was almost playing in the role Enzo is at times when he came off the bench, of like, he's actually, like, the way he moves with the ball was good as well. So yeah, like, I understand what I'm saying. It's not a risk in terms of like expensive. It's more just money you spent you didn't need to spend that could have spent elsewhere. It's a common theme that this club has of like just spending unnecessary money.
That.
Like, because if you take the money you spent on this player and the money you spent on this player and the money you spent on this player, you pull that together, you can go and buy someone much better. Like, for example, like, I know it's not always black and white like this, but like, you go and take that 22 you spent on Isugo, you take the 18 you spent on Washington, or the 14, whatever it was, that's 36 million. Like, that money there is money that you take some of that, put that towards the Maignan deal. There you go, you got that sorted. You haven't had to spend any additional money from other deals or compared to other deals. Or you take that money, you throw in the 30 mil from KDH you didn't need to spend, that's 66 mil. Now, obviously, it doesn't take the wages into account, but that's 66 mil you've got on an Osimhen.
I'm not even saying that. I think,
or a Rodgers. Actually, forget those guys cannot sign. That's 66 million you've potentially got to sign on a Rodgers for.
You know what I would say? You know what it is, Scott? Yeah, the thing for me is that I'm not saying you don't need a Caicedo backup, Marshall. I'm just saying, yeah, if I wouldn't have minded the club spent a bit more money on someone that's a bit more. He might be a little bit older than him by like a year or two, but it's a lot more readier than Isugu that can necessarily be that backup for Caicedo. That's probably what I would probably say to you, right? He's got a bit more experience, got a bit more talent and stuff like that, and can do that job. Does that make sense?
I think, and we talked about this, I think part of the issue is just the archetype that Ugochukwu is. Like, Ugochukwu to me is more of a Sergio Busquets type of DM, where
I know what you mean. Yes,
I will, positioning wise, I'll be in the right positions. I'm not the quickest. I won't be the most aggressive to dispossess the opponent, but I'll be there to intercept the passes. I'll be there to control the pace of the game, and I'll be there to kind of just keep the tempo of the game. Whereas Isugo and what Caicedo does for us at Chelsea, he is the aggressor type. He is that N'Golo Kante type where I'll get in your face, I'll win the ball back, I'll be there to intercept balls, I'll be at every point of the midfield, which is, and I'm glad Scott mentioned this in terms of like progressive passing. Like, Leslie can do that. He can progress the ball. He can, thread a ball to the midfield and find good passes. But Isugo and Caicedo, they can move the ball up the pitch themselves. They can run up the field and connect 1-2 link up. Like, that's something that I know Las Palmas isn't the best example, but when you see Isugo on the ball, it's very similar to how Caicedo plays. And you look at how, in this system that Maresca has in particular, it's very, very based on profiles. Like, he tried to find a replacement for Alavia, and he struggled. And that's when we were at our worst, right? When we didn't have a Lavia, someone that can do the job that Lavia does, which, in my opinion, that is Leslie. Leslie can do that job. But if you have Santos for that position, who is younger, right? And that's where the things kind of get a little bit like,
I think Kafka's got a good point here.
It gets tricky.
I think Kafka's got a good point. Because, if you look at the way he was playing at Southampton, he was actually playing as an 8 at Southampton. He was more so like a box-to-box guy. And that's the way he was being, right? Because at Chelsea, he was played more in the 6 role by Poch, right? Because who was the 6th pass? Was it Enzo that was the 6th pass under Poch? Or who was the 6th?
It was Enzo and it was Caicedo in the island.
Because remember, Enzo used to be the one that used to roam around everywhere alongside Gallagher.
Yeah.
And then
But they would,
is
the idea was them to take shifts, but it just
exactly.
never
I know what you
worked
mean, right? But essentially, right, that's the thing, right? I think him playing D8 probably would be a lot better in my personal opinion. But again, I think Ugochukwu, as long as he goes to the right place next, because I believe in him. I think he would do really well, man. Trust me.
Yeah, and listen, if we keep Leslie, I'm happy. If he goes, then it is what it is. I do believe Dario Sugo is a good profile. I think a lot of people, just because they haven't seen him or because they saw him with Las Palmas, like they're maybe taking the result of the game and the quality around him maybe too into account in terms of him. But like when you look at just the profile himself and then you apply that to better quality around him, surrounded by maybe players that can protect him a little more, and especially the experience that, and he's come out and said it, like his favorite player is Caicedo. He models his game after Caicedo. It's like it's very, and he's even said like, I'm interested in playing with Caicedo. Like he does very much model himself a lot like Caicedo. I'm not saying he's a Caicedo fan or he grew up and was like a Chelsea fan, but it's you can tell by the way he plays. It's like, okay, I see why people say you're like Caicedo Jr. Is he gonna step up to the level? I don't know. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna jump the gun and be like he's gonna be the next Caicedo. No. But when you see him play, you see like, okay, there's similarities there. I can definitely see it for sure. But all right, that was a good discussion. Let's actually move on to another player that Ahmed, you're familiar with this guy. I mean, you know him very well. Where's the clip? Yeah, where's
What happened when you invite girls in your place? Do you get a takeaway? You get a non-doors?
Yeah. We're talking about Oopla himself, Mr. The Brick Disasi. Axel Disasi. So this is a little bit of old news, but I figured we'd just bring it into the discussion because, this is potentially a link that could come back in the future. But Axel Disasi unlikely to sign permanently for Aston Villa. This was reported by The Athletic about a month ago. We continue on here that Aston Villa apparently want to keep Disasi from Santi JFM. Discussions have already begun with the player, and it will then be time to discuss the matter with Chelsea. Santi JFM also saying that this is the same thing. And Newcastle and Al Ahly, and I think this is Saudi Al Ahly, not the
so the way to tell the difference. No, the way to tell the difference, literally, the Egyptian one has a Y,
right?
Yes, no, but it's not the I. It's just because in this case, it's not a H in thingies. It's Al Ahly, isn't with the Y, I think.
Okay, but yeah, it's so there's interest for Disasi. I do think he can get moved on this window. I don't think he's a bad center back, but for whatever reason, multiple managers just like to play him at right back. I don't understand why, but the wide right, he gets cooked every time. I don't understand what this
as I've said before,
obsession is.
I said before, Disasi. I think he'll go somewhere else for 30 million. I don't know where it will be. I know Newcastle are probably interested in him, and I think they could probably make him work. But wherever he goes, man, I wish him every success, man. Because
dude, imagine Axel Disasi and Dan Burn in the back.
Yes,
Jesus.
I think like he would work in a three back, maybe something like that. Yeah. But regardless, man, as long as you understand what the type of centre back he is and the type of thing he does, I think he'll be all right, man. I'll be honest.
Mm-hmm. It's not Egypt. It's Saudi. But yeah, I mean, listen, if he goes, he goes. He's had enough. Like I said, I give players 2 seasons. I gave him the first season. I think he was all right for Poch. I don't think he was horrible as people say he was, but he did have that howler against Leicester City in the FA Cup, which people love to remember and, loom over his head. However, this season, he was played on the wide right. Did have a stinker of a game against Newcastle in the Carabao Cup, which got us eliminated. So yeah, he's had his fair share of games and chances to prove himself. And unfortunately, in terms of a goal scoring threat in the corners, he was all right. Good personality, but that doesn't get you into Chelsea. We require much higher.
It's not about that. It's not about higher standards or anything. I think the problem with Disasi was always he was a backup for us. We didn't. The problem was he became a starter fast because of the fact that our starting centre back Wesley Fofana was consistently injured, and we knew that was gonna happen. So I think for me, Disasi's always been like disrespected a bit more because he was never meant to be a starter fast, bro. That's why I don't hate Disasi.
He was also bought in part, right? There was interest in him, but he was also bought in part to be an emergency signing because we had lost Chalobah that summer.
Exactly. So like again, like I feel like for me, we lose hindsight as to why Disasi is here, and also be the type of centre back that he is. I think the sooner people realize that, I think the sooner the age for Disasi leaves.
In the French league, he was actually a good center back. Like I remember looking into his stats and his profile and what he did, and he was essentially doing what Thiago Silva was doing for Chelsea at Monaco. Like he was the center back that would pass it from the back and ping balls and just kind of the playmaker from the back. But he was, they took away that role from him at this team and essentially just dumbed him down to just a basic, center back.
Listen, Kafkas can hate on Disasi, man. But listen, Disasi, man, he's a backup centre back, man. That's what he was for us. I don't understand. Like, listen.
Alexis is the guy that in one sentence will say, like, I like Disasi, but in the same sentence saying he's shit.
I'm not even going to call him shit. I'm just going to say he's just not our level. I knew he was never our level. So I've never hated the guy. That's the thing. The difference with me is that I understood he was a bench player. Yeah. Our problem was our starter was a known, consistently injured centre back. That's where we failed. Yeah. Disasi would probably be here 1-2 games, and ahead of us every now and then. People would be screaming about Disasi. Oh, what a legend! What a guy off the bench! He'd be looking another Bettinelli for us, bro. I'll be so serious when I say that to you. But
no, I could see that. I could see that.
Our starting CB is the injury-prone Frenchman. He's always injured, and we still keep him. Yeah.
Hey, Disasi, don't worry, man. We appreciate what you did for the club.
You
right?
cook much at home?
Yeah, I cook very well.
Cooks very well, man.
Listen, man. He's, I feel like it's underestimated. Yeah, like guys like this. I always find guys like Disasi, maybe even a Tosin. Even though I don't really rate Tosin, I'll be honest. Tosin, I just have 0 ratings. I'll be so real. Even though even though he's a great header of the ball, much like Disasi, but I just think, they're great background guys. I think that's something that's missed a lot of the time, by the way. Yeah, guys that are great in the background, help with the team bonding. You know what I mean? Good with their teammates and stuff like that. And that's something that you always need in the dressing room, bro. Because you don't want the dressing room, to be somewhere where the pressure is always felt all the time either. You want someone that's there that can relieve the pressure a little bit of the players and also make sure they're doing their job accurately and correctly.
Yeah. But who knows? Maybe Aston Villa come back and they purchase him. Maybe he goes back to, he could even, like I said, we could sell to Strasbourg. I wouldn't be surprised if Leslie Gachugu does get sold to Strasbourg, but Disasi could be another
He's not going to Strasbourg, personally, but he will just, I think he'll get sold for 30 million and we'll keep it pushing. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, keep it pushing. Just like this next one, too, that we're going to talk about as well. He's another one that we might just keep pushing is Badiashile. The center back that we were really hopeful for and looked really promising in his first season under Potter, but hasn't really risen up to those levels since. And I think a lot of it has to do with Thiago Silva. But we continue on here. Benoit Badiashile is another earmark for Chelsea's stay category, but there is more question mark over Tosin, whether he is content with a backup role. That's going for Simon Johnson. This is April 25th, so this is a while ago. But we accelerate over to May 20th, almost a month ago. Benoit Badiashile admits he does not know if he will stay at Chelsea this summer, but is targeting Conference League glory. He said, I don't know if I will stay or not, but I'm here at Chelsea, so we will try to win, and that's it. And he did play in the Conference League. So we move forward. Benoit Badiashile is one of the main names on the short list of Inter Milan, according to Sanchi JFM, which that might be cooked, boys. That might be cooked. Marseille are weighing up the potential move to Chelsea midfielder Benoit Badiashile, according to L'Equipe.
Midfielder.
Well.
Interesting. I don't know if midfield.
Are weighing up the potential Chelsea defender. Sorry, Benoit Badiashile. So I misread that.
I was being a dickhead there. But listen, again, Badiashile is another one where I'm like, he should realistically be sold. Ever since Thiago Silva has left. You know what I mean? is that a waste man cooking me already? I think he's cooking you. Have you honest? He is cooking you for sure, bro. I'll be very honest with you.
Cook, bro.
But listen, going back to Badiashile, the reality of Badiashile is that you just got to move him on as well. He's another one I just look at. He had a great start to the season. He had a great time at Chelsea under not Thiago Silva, but with Thiago Silva under Potter. Potter then left. He then came on. He got injured. Came back from an injury, re-injured himself again. Then started playing really bad under Poch. We all remember that one. Got injured again, and then basically this season he's had bright moments. I'll be honest, under Maresca, but he's basically still been very injury prone. Marshall. He's barely played.
That's another issue to the injuries,
right?
Yeah.
Like he's now started to become an injury prone player, and that for me is. But even before I even get to criticizing his defense, that's a problem, bro. I can't have a guy that's injury prone in the team. So I think for me, Badiashile, sadly, he's the one I look at and I'm like, time to move on, bro. You had a great start, but you've not ended it correctly for me, personally. And again, if you are bringing a Joro Hato, he can be he's a solid backup for you in the LCB role, right? So either way, I think you're fine. Even when Vega, I always felt when Vega came in, even though obviously with him, he's being moved on. I always thought Badishile's time at the club was always like ticking at that moment in time if he didn't produce this season.
I agree with that as well. Like it's a shame. There is a good player there, but it's just one, you can't stay fit, and this also goes to show, and hopefully one day the directors will understand it. And this is kind of why I want Gehi to come into the club. If we're gonna get another center back, goes to show that experience goes a long way. It helps that center back partnership a lot. Like we saw, like it's a staunch difference in Badiashile when he was playing with Thiago Silva versus playing with another person like Colwell or Chalobah. Like even Chalobah, you saw the best of Chalobah when he was with Thiago Silva, or you saw the best of Colwell when he was like an experienced player like that tells you like where to position yourself and all that stuff. When you're learning the game, especially the center back game, which you don't get good at it until you don't get at your best until you're a little older. That has a lot to do with knowing where to be. And
I think that part of the argument that I would have is that Badiashile didn't necessarily need it because he played quite a few years already with Monaco. Again, Badiashile for a lot of people,
young. I
get the young bit, but I have to disagree there because he's played a lot of years in Ligue 1. Like that's one thing I would have to disagree with. He's a former FM legend, I lot of people don't know that, by the way. He's a former FM legend. That's why, that's why for me, I always say with Badiashile, his thing wasn't that he needed Thiago Silva. I just think with him, he lost confidence. The injuries then started to hurt him, and then he's never really been able to come back to that confidence level again.
You know what? The one thing he lost, which was his best trait, I think he lost that calmness he had. Because I think that was the one thing that made him amazing, is how calm he always was when the attackers would approach him. Like he would stay calm and he would be able to dispossess them. No problem. He was that brick, he was a wall. And it just, after a while, he just started moving more sporadically, not knowing. And I think a lot of it has to do with, even if he did have experience at Monaco for a while, right? You're saying FM legend, all that. I think not having that experienced head, the much older head behind him to tell him like, yo, maybe just move a few feet, a few meters back here. Football is a game of margins, of fine margins. Those fine margins made a difference, and he got cooked a lot more when Thiago Silva wasn't there to kind of tell him where to go. So I'm not saying he always needed to have his hand held, but at times it did help him be a lot more consistent. And that's why we're seeing this season where he had some good games, some bad games, some good games, some bad games. It sucks. And then the passing ability, is still there. He has great passing ability. I don't think that never disappeared from him, but it's just the solidity in the back that disappeared, and it's a shame to see because I think there was a good player there. But listen, at Chelsea, you don't get much time. And if you don't cook in that time, then you get moved on. But speaking of getting moved on, and a player that may not actually get moved on, he might actually stay. Let's see what's going to happen with this. It's Trevor Chalobah. So going on to this first tweet, May 7th, we heard here from Kieran Gill that I haven't heard that stance, the stance has changed for Trevor Chalobah, who could also be available for sale despite his improving performances. Chelsea could make Trevor Chalobah and Benoit Badiashile available for interest if interest is shown. And then we have here Matt Law about a week ago that Trevor Chalobah is attracting interest from Napoli. Chelsea have been delighted with Chalobah's performance and attitude since returning from his loan spell at Crystal Palace and are not actively looking to sell him. And Matt Law is a pretty reliable source when it comes to this stuff. And it says here, Matt Law, that Chalobah is drawing serious interest from Napoli, but his situation is different from past windows as he is actively not being touted to the clubs or placed on a list. CFC will only sell if Trevor asked to leave, which is a really interesting turn of events. I'll be honest with you, I didn't expect this. I thought, oh my God, what a save. I thought that for sure Chelsea and the board were going to actually continue and persist on the selling of him because of pure profit.
Marshall fell for it, bro. They're trying a new gimmick now. The club's actually trying a new gimmick now. You haven't realized?
What?
They realized pushing him too hard didn't really go anywhere. Let's be realistic, Marshall. Right?
New approach.
Yeah, right. No, but I'm being serious. I think the club have realized the approach of trying to shop him around to find the market for him didn't work, right? And trying to force him to sell when they knew that he didn't want to leave, didn't work. So now they're trying to knee up. They're trying a new angle now. But it's like, don't worry, we're not even going to advertise you this time. We're gonna basically, you're not going to be in a shop window, but basically this is like, if you want him, you come to us, give us a good deal. We'll say, Chalobah, we don't want to sell you, bro, but they give us this bid. What do you think about it? You know what I mean? They're trying to be the nice guy now. Time they've been the bad cop. Now it's time to be the good cop, man. That's what it feels like to me. I'll be honest. Because look, if you actually read it, and you just take a second, relax a little bit, you're like, oh, so they're trying to. It feels like they're just trying that new gimmick, bro. Because they're not saying that he's not for sale, and at the same time, they're not saying that he is for sale.
I mean, it does strike me odd to say Chelsea will only sell if Chalobah wants to leave, and it's like, he's not going to leave. He doesn't want to leave.
But he doesn't want to leave. But then at the same time, you're willing to accept bids, stuff like that. You know what the game is. You're like, oh, listen, this is the bid you've got, mate. I feel about it. I think it would help the club a lot if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. They're not doing the thing where they're like, listen, mate, you're for sale. Go with the bomb squad. Does that make sense? Yeah.
No, they're not doing that, which it didn't work out in their favor. I mean, to be fair, if I think two things are true, right? Like I do think obviously the club, if an offer does come, they will try to entice him to go and they will try to sell him. And I do think you're right. I don't think they're gonna force him out. However, and they know people are going to be interested because he did end up improving at Chelsea. Like he didn't start off well when he came back, but then he ended up getting better as the season went. Oddly similar to the Pochettino season, to be honest, but he did end up improving and being a rock in the defense. And at the end of the
breaking news as well. So the transfer window is not open in the UK.
Oh, look at that! All right, Gittins is coming very soon, guys. It might happen during the stream. Just kidding. But in terms of the Chalobah thing, it's if an offer does come in, they will probably try to talk to Chalobah and be like, hey, listen, we have this offer. It would help us out. Would you accept it? And maybe they might try to reason with him. I don't think he's going to want to accept. I think he wants to stay at Chelsea. He really likes Chelsea. But at the end of the day, too, like I think even us as fans, and the board, they probably saw that at the end of the season, he wasn't one of the worst defenders. There were worse defenders than him. Like Badiashile wasn't that great. Disasi, we ended up having to loan him out. Like I think there's other defenders that you just have to prioritize selling, and it's not Chalobah. Like especially now when we're looking to replace these guys, it's just kind of less work now at this point because. Listen, there's other priorities you got to sell. We saw the list: Chilwell, Sterling, Vega, Felix, and Nkunku. There's too much work to be done, and Chalobah isn't of a priority in that sense. And on top of it, too, like we're doing okay with FFP and PSR. We don't need to necessarily take advantage of pure profit. Sugo has been sold to Fenerbahce. Get the hell out of here, bro. Matt Law said Chalobah will only leave if he is unhappy with his game time. Chelsea want to keep him as a backup. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think it's a priority considering how much needs to be sold. And I think when you look at how much needs to be sold, the directors have a lot on their plate, man.
I'm going to be honest with you, Martin. Chalobah is going to be one to watch this one day. I promise you, bro.
I don't disagree.
Bids are going to be coming in for Chalobah because they do. I genuinely feel like with Chalobah, they're trying to do reverse psychology. That's the best way to put it. I just, bro. There's no way you can go from this to the other thing. It has to be with this a reverse psychology game. They realize they pushed too hard and it didn't lead to success, so they're trying to do the reverse of that right now. I promise you.
Maybe. Time will tell with that one. We'll be here. We'll see, and we'll be keeping track of it, obviously, just to see how that develops. But all right, let's continue on. But before we do so,
you know what, Kafkas? I actually disagree. I think I actually think he could probably get a 25 to 30 million bid from like a Crystal Palace this time, fully. I think Crystal Palace, yeah, because they've now got Europa League football, all this stuff, they would actually go in for a 25 30 million bid for him again. I'll be honest with you.
Ooh.
I really feel like, yeah, Crystal Palace side, Napoli would actually come in with like a 25 million pound bid too. I actually could see Napoli doing that too. If Conte wants a player, they will actually, like, you know, pay the money to make that happen too. So
that's criminal header that Porto just missed, by the way.
By who?
Chalobah may need to keep his options open if he wants to fight. That's not a bad shout either. He won't go there. He wants UCL. Napoli bid 10 million euro. Yeah, we'll see. It's one to keep an eye on.
Listen, I do think 20 million for Chalobah can happen. I really do think if they do like a deal of like 20 million plus 5 million add-ons for Chalobah, I think you could realistically get that, in my personal opinion.
I mean, considering it's pure profit, I could see that happening.
Yeah, I really could see that happening, Kafkas.
Yeah, but that we'll obviously keep.
The thing about the market right now, Kafkas, you have to realize you have to wait for them to start getting a little bit desperate. That's when you need to, like, right now. Maybe there may be a club that's interested in him right now that we don't know about, but I think you have to give it like until like early July to start seeing stuff for Chalobah start happening. My personal.
Continuing on, and before we continue on, ladies and gents, if you haven't done so already, do smash up the like button. It helps out the stream tremendously in terms of growth and getting the algorithm to work in our favor, especially now that we have the transfer window and we have a Club World Cup happening. Helps us out big time so that we get this this channel, this show out to people so they can get informed and enjoy the content. So go ahead and smash up the like. Helps out tremendously. Let's go on to the next story, which is catching up with this as well. Fofana. What's going on with Fofana and what's the big idea? So a few things to discuss here in terms of Fofana, which I find to be very interesting, and I don't necessarily agree. Let's go ahead and start off with this first tweet that came from April, right? So we'll work our way to the present time. Breaking: Chelsea have opened the door to move for Wesley Fofana, whether on loan or on a permanent. And this is obviously after the injury. He's been out since, hasn't played any football since, I want to say, December. Played a little bit and then he got injured again. And so that didn't work out in his favor. And he had to get the hamstring surgery and he should be back by the beginning of the season. So, this is coming from Santi JFM. Also here, Wesley Fofana is more than open to the idea of joining Marseille. Once again, Marseille linked once again to Wesley Fofana, who are still interested in him. Then we go to May 13th. Enzo Maresca and Chelsea are big fans of Wesley Fofana, but his injury record means that the club would most likely listen to any sizable offers for him. We continue on. April 13th, also here. Enzo Maresca is keen for Chelsea to sign a ball-playing central defender to complement Wesley Fofana and also help to mitigate the impact of his absence through injuries. So Maresca kind of in favor of keeping Fofana, but also finding another player that can take his place in case he inevitably gets injured, which I think is unwise. And then the latest on Fofana is that Fofana, not in Chelsea's Club World Cup squad. Chelsea want him to focus on getting ready for next season, considering him a key defender. That's a big part right there. Key defender. So, I mean, I think we agree on this, Ahmed. I feel like this is not a good idea. I feel like Fofana, we need to move on from him. We need to get someone else of a good caliber to take his place that can do the job. despite what Maresca might want in this situation. I'm usually for giving the manager and the head coach what he needs, but I'm also for maybe taking toys away from a defender or from a head coach for their best interest as well, because I think this is just relying on this player is kind of shooting yourself in the foot.
You are setting yourself up for failure if this happens. I'm so serious when I say this again, bro. You're literally setting yourself up for failure if you do this again. And like, for me, you need to be, I'll be very honest with you, you need to be getting in the starter, bro.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know what ball playing center back they would want. I mean, was Huijsen the one? I don't think Huijsen was the one. Guehi, I don't see him as like a... But then again, Fofana's not a ball playing center back either. He's more of a ball progressor.
The problem with this surgery argument, yeah, for Fofana, yeah, unlike Reece James, is that he's had other injuries that have extended his problems. He's had a broken leg. He's had a flipping multiple knee injuries. He's had multiple hamstring injuries. So it's not just one thing. If it was just one thing,
guy's falling apart from the waist down, to be honest.
The problem for me, if it was just one thing, I think like what EPL is saying is logical. The problem with him is not just one thing. It's multiple issues that he's had.
Multiple things. Yeah.
That's the problem.
That's the thing, EE, though. We were cooking with Fofana. I'd keep him as a backup. Bro, this is a backup we signed for 80 million pounds. 80, like, let me just to make sure, like, how much did Chelsea sign Wesley Fofana for?
It was 70
It was a transfer of 70 million pounds, bro. With add-ons, potentially taking a deal of 75 million pounds. Like, you don't sign a player for that much and have him as a backup. He's also too good to be a backup, let's be honest. But like, man, it's like, if he could stay fit, this wouldn't be an issue. But he can't stay fit. That's the problem. That's the biggest problem here. And listen, we were having discussions, and listen, again, I go back to this. I'm not going to make rules for thee, but not for me, right? If early on in the season, we were having discussions about what do we do with Reece James? If he can't stay fit for X amount of games, I think it's time to move him on and so on and so forth. You can't say, now we can't have that discussion for Wesley Fofana. We've been had that discussion. Wesley Fofana's been out. I would probably say he's been out injured more than Reece James in the last 3 years. It's up there. It's up there. They're neck and neck. Fofana might have him beat, to be honest, but it's just one of those situations that, like, it's not going to work in our favor. He's just way too injury prone, and it's not like Ahmed was saying, it's a knee injury last season. Before that, the leg break, which, by the way, you guys know, I give the benefit of the doubt on that. That's an injury that it's a freak accident, right? If he doesn't have that preseason, and I think it was Villarreal. I think it was the team that was the leg break. If they don't have that preseason game and he doesn't do that fucking freak tackle, the leg break never happens.
I know.
It happen and it affects you.
The thing. I heard EPL say that this season, for example, is all of it injuries have been hamstring. Okay, that's fair play. That's fair enough, EPL. I hear you on that. But the problem is, if you just look at the season before that, and the season before that as well, he's had other major problems. That's what we're talking about, EPL.
Vic saying it right here.
Right, this season it may be hamstring injuries, but next season we don't know where it's going to be. It could be another part of the league again.
Could be the other leg. You know what I mean? Like, yes. It seems to me like the leg break, I think, made everything else worse, right? Because when your leg breaks, and it was a bad leg break, you gotta, every muscle, every bone, it's not aligned like it was like before, right? Like, you gotta think about it this way, right? And a lot of people like to compare cars to human anatomy. In a car, you have the axles and the drive shaft, right? Like, this is the part of the car that is like a core part of the car that controls everything, and everything is aligned a certain way. And if, oh my God, I thought Esteval was having a moment there. Okay, but if you damage like the main drive shaft, once you repair it, it's not going to be like factory settings, and it's going to throw everything else off. And a fibula, like a leg break, that's the the core of your leg. Everything else comes from that. The hamstring, the knee, all that shit. And on top of it, your knee was also broken. Like, you ruptured your whole... They rebuilt your knee. They reattached your leg, bro. Like, this is like...
Okay, listen.
You're not the same at that point.
I get what Marshall's talking
They
about.
reattached your leg. I'm exaggerating, but... Yeah.
But listen, I'm not here to... Listen, as a A-level biologist, I don't have the university... You know what I mean? Listen... I don't have the level, that level of A-level. A-level biology doesn't teach me this, so I'm just gonna keep quiet on this one. But what I can say is that the argument about James has proved us wrong. I would actually disagree with that, by the way. I think what we've actually realized, right? The thing about Reece James, is that he is literally being minute monitored. He's not even playing like he's back to like regular Reece James minutes, bro. He can't play a back-to-back consistently. He has to play a certain amount of minutes before we hook him off, because we're managing him to an extreme degree. That's the only way we can literally use Reece James these days. Managed to an extreme degree, bro. He couldn't even start, by the way, a final for us. That's what I don't think people understand. He couldn't even start. This is why the Reece James argument I don't necessarily agree with, because Reece James is just being super managed. He's being managed like he's like a chess piece. He's like the king of
Mercer came out and admitted it too.
Yeah. He is being managed like the king in chess, bro. Everyone else is doing the work. He's only been given one move. Everyone else can do like multiple moves. The queen can move anywhere by a certain amount. The rook can move one, right? But was it whatever like that? But that's the point I'm just trying to make. But for me personally, with Fofana, the reality is EPL. Even if I want to keep him as a backup, he's not even able to do that job for me, securely.
Just like if you had a spinal injury, right? Like, just like if you have a spinal injury, that's a very, very core part of the body that you could end up being paralyzed. You can end up not having half your body. Like, it's very, very vital. When it comes to a football player, your leg is everything, right? Like, I think a leg break is almost a career ender. Now we've gotten to a point where you get an ACL injury. It used to be a career ender. Now we've gotten to the point where technology helps you so you can still continue on to have a decent career. Look at Virgil van Dijk, for example, so on and so forth, right? But yeah, it's just one of those injuries that the leg break ever since then, and mind you, he still had injuries prior. Ever since then, it's the knee, then the knee. Now you got the hamstring. It's just reoccurring injuries. I wouldn't be surprised if he once again injures the other leg, because the other leg's compensating. It's just not the same. Your body doesn't heal the same from an injury of that magnitude, and then it affects the whole rest of your body as well. Your body starts to compensate. It's just a lot of factors that people don't like to take into account. It's not as simple as just changing an axle or changing this part or whatever. It's much more complicated. And if it doesn't heal right on top of it, if you get rushed in, those are all the other factors. We saw Fofana. We saw his attitude. He will play through an injury. He literally came out and said to Reska, I'm not out till the end of the season, despite what the medical experts were telling him. And look what happened. Injured his hamstring, probably made it worse than what it originally was. So when you have players like that too, that aren't doing what's in their best interest, despite what medical experts are telling you, bro, you're probably just making your injuries worse. I'm just saying, if you're not properly healing, how do you expect to heal at all?
Fofana is very complicated because
he is.
I think with
Esteban got subbed out.
I think with the thing of EPL, the thing is EPL, right? And I think with Fofana it's complicated because at least with Reece James, you can make the argument when he was injured. When he was injured, he was actually barring the period under Tuchel, even under Poch, they were giving him as much ample time as possible to come back here and be ready for the team, right? Obviously, the surgery then did help him, it seems, right? But then even post-surgery, throughout the season, even towards the end of the season, we are managing his minutes minute by minute, right? And that's the only reason why we're able to still get Reece James to play somewhat regular football for us at the end of the day. I think the problem for Fofana is trying to rush himself back from injury, trying to force himself to play, right? Yeah. Doing a lot of that other stuff. So he as a player is also not ready to buy into the process of recovery. It's not even
and that's
which is the other problem. Which is the other problem, I think.
Yeah. That's part of the issue as well, guys. So I know EPL Turf, you said I had the same lecture with James, and to an extent, I did, But this is totally different in the sense that like this is a much more severe injury that will affect other body parts. Whereas like the hamstring, sure, you get a surgery on it. You're going to have to learn how to run a little different. You're going to have to compensate and sure, but it's not as vital and core of a body part as like your whole entire freaking fibula. Like that's a big injury that usually in most people, it does end careers. But yeah, let's continue on to the next segment, which is part of our main segment here today. I don't know much about this player, I'll admit, but we're going to learn about him today. Maybe Ahmed knows, maybe chat knows, but let's talk about, I'm gonna butcher this name, Woltemade, new target, right? The German striker that we've been linked to. So let's talk about him a little bit. So here is the link here. Casually FC reached out for 6'6" striker Nick Woltemade before the U21 Euros, stating that they were monitoring him closely and his contract situation. Stuttgart will start talks with him soon with a salary increase planned. And that's coming from Badiashile and Bild. So a little information on him, right? So no striker in Europe's top 5 leagues contests more offensive duels per 90 than Nick Woltemade, 18.8 duels per 90 in Europe's top 5 leagues. So offensive duels, that's not a bad stat to have. It's not much though to go off of. So we gotta learn more about this player. So this is obviously, you guys know, I like to put the data MB info here. I'll open this in a new tab, but this is the comparison to Hugo Ekitike. Let's go to the next tab so we can see the image a little better. All right, here we go. So this is essentially the data MB, blue being Ekitike, Woltemade being in the red. Passes to box, right? Okay, so we got pretty much Ekitike ticks every marker. He's probably the better player overall. But in terms of passes to the box, Woltemade's got it. But it's not too far off either. So as a plan B, if we can't agree a deal on Ekitike, doesn't look like a bad plan B. You got aerial duels 43.9%. Ekitike's got a decent amount of aerials dual ones, which isn't bad. Passes received 70.6. Age is similar. You got non-penalty goals 86.7 versus the 83.9 for Ekitike. XG 85.9. Ekitike's got 96.1 on that. Passes into the box 82.4, 37.3. So to an extent, Woltemade seems like more of a creator as well. Has that advantage over Ekitike. Expected assists 8.80 versus the 91.8. Attacking actions 85.5, 94.1. They're not too far off from one another, but Ekitike has played a lot more minutes than Woltemade as well, which could factor into a lot of the info. But we also have obviously Euro expert discussing him. I'm not going to go too deep into this because this is very thorough. What I will do, however, is I will put this link in the chat for you guys to look at it yourselves if you want a very thorough analysis of the player from the Euro expert. But what I will do is I'll read the summary pretty much is verdict. I really like Nick Woltemade. I'll post my notebook below and you'll see that the dribbling section for Woltemade is almost entirely green. Perhaps I'm biased in the respect because he's easy to love, big man who can dribble through tight spaces. Come on, it's awesome to watch. However, I do think Woltemade is going to become a very effective striker for an elite side. I know he's only been at Stuttgart a year, but I can envisage a Big Six Premier League side pulling the trigger on him. There's a really unique, impressive foundation to work with, and depending on your opinion on how much he can improve on his weaknesses, you may have a superstar in your hands. So, tall player that can dribble. It's always a good thing. But I mean, Ahmed, what do you know about this player, if much at all?
Nothing.
Okay, fair enough.
I have no idea on this player. I don't. I think for me right now, the problem right now that I'm having right now is that I just don't know who are we targeting. What are we looking at? What's our requirements for the secondary striker? Why do you want him? like it's very. I think it's very difficult right now to know if we are going for like a second striker or not, because he is essentially a striker, right? Because if you bring him in, then Jackson's basically gone. That's what I can probably say the most effectively. I don't know about you if you'd agree with that, but like,
No, I probably agree with that.
because like he definitely seems like he's a striker. So for me, if that's the case, you know, Jackson's probably gone. So I don't know what that means.
Anyways, yeah.
I've got to go for 10 minutes, bro. If you don't mind, can you just
Do your thing, man. I can hold down for it, obviously. But yeah, in terms of this player, listen, guys, I'm gonna be so honest with you, and you guys probably already know this. I'm just gonna state it for the people who are probably new to the channel. I don't really care who we target, unless it's Garnacho. That's the only exception I'll make. And the reason I don't care is because there have been a handful of times where the directors have targeted a certain player and that player went off to be a baller, right? Duran, Samu, who I'm watching right now, who's having a brilliant game against Palmeiras as well. Who else? Due, we were linked to. We were linked to Barcola at one point. I still don't really rate Barcola. I think he's another Nani, pretty much. But regardless, there's a good player in there. So on and so forth. Duran, you know, like, I think as long as you bring in a good profile that fits in the system, that fits what you need it to fit, then so be it. Even Vega, like, I didn't know who the fuck Vega was. Guy came from Basel, and they came from Basel, and you see him play, and when you see him play, I was like, wow, he's actually not bad. And he came from Basel. Like, it's, again, you see the players that they bring in, and it's like, I don't. There's decent players there. There's decent talent. Are they all going to kick off? Not always. You know, I'm not going to pretend and sit here and say like they don't have duds. Yeah, they have duds. Of course they have duds. But Luis Campos has duds too. Like, let's not pretend like any director is perfect. And you guys already know. Again, if you're new here, you don't know, but you already know. I am not a fan of these directors. I want them out. All right. I am all for sacking Win Stanley and Lawrence Stewart. I think we can get another director that can do a much better job, right? But they do have the talent ID. They can scout, right? We have good scouts. They're finding good profiles. It's the negotiating. I don't care about this player. If you do want to bring him in, if you think he's a good fit for the system, whatever, then bring him in. Bring him in. Get it done. I don't care about the profile and stuff. Just get the negotiating done. As long as it's a decent price as well. I don't want to pay like 80 mil for this player. Like, at that point, just get Ekitike, who, from what I've seen by Ekitike, he looks like a solid player. But again, it's one of those things that I don't mind it. If he's a good profile, if you got Euro Expert speaking pretty highly of him, again, check out the link that I just put in the chat. You want to see the whole entire tweet. This goes very thoroughly on Woltemade. You can see his opinion on it, right? He'll give you a breakdown of the player. But a tall profile that has good probably has good aerial ability as a result of being tall. So we'll see. And we do need tall profiles, physical profiles at that, especially when it comes to being in the Premier League and you want to bully defenders, so on and so forth. Let's see if his heading ability is very good. I have to do more research myself as well. I can't speak too much on him. But again, I don't care too much about the profiles as long as it's not Alejandro Garnacho, please. Like, that's one player that I will sit here and tell you that Alejandro Garnacho is not as bad as a player as people think he is. But what I cannot stand is the personality and the drama that comes with him and the ego that comes with him. And that's a big no-no for me and a big red flag for me, especially for the price as well. So that's my 2 cents on this player. The next target that, not even target, the next topic I wanted to bring up to you guys was the other big one that we had. And this is the big one that everyone's been talking about. And it's Paez. So after all the fiasco that's been going on with Paez and the whole spiel of, oh, they promised him Club World Cup minutes, and then all of a sudden they did a whole 180 on him, and now he's not going to Club World Cup. That whole debacle, which is not a good debacle, obviously. Yeah, there's been a bit of a turn of events, I would say, in terms of Paez, and all of a sudden he is actually traveling to Club World Cup. I'll give you my opinion on this, but let's read over the tweets and see what we think is actually going on. So we start off with this tweet from Ben Jacobs. So understand, Kendrick Paez will now travel to America and stay with Chelsea during Club World Cup. He is not registered as a player, at least not for the first part of the tournament. However, he will stay with the team and join training sessions. Continuing on. Also worth noting, it was always Chelsea's plan, regardless of Club World Cup selection, to take Kendrick Paez to America so he could spend time with the group. Expectation is still that he goes on loan this summer. Okay. That was one of those... Huh? That's a very, very, very strange thing to do. But I think I can understand why. It was always Chelsea's plan. Okay, so I already pretty much read this already. Continuing on, Kieran Gill here saying, it is understood that Kendrick Paez's preference would be to be around Chelsea's first team next season. The club is considering what is best for his progress. Andre Santos has been used as an example of how a temporary stay at Strasbourg can be beneficial. Now, before I give you my 2 cents, smash up the like button if you haven't done so already. Also, smash up the like button if you're watching the Porto Palmeiras game and you're enjoying it, because it's not been a bad game. 0-0, but it's not been a bad game. There's been chances, there's been opportunities here. Esteval, despite what people may say about Stinker and Hooked, he actually did have a decent game. But again, Porto, I think, is a little too much quality for him. And listen, this is why me and Ahmed and a lot of the panel were saying, like, don't overrate it. Let's see what it looks like in the Prem. He probably is going to need a loan to adapt. It's going to take time. But this was what we needed to see. He's not gonna kick off from the first go. But anyways, that being said, the same goes for Kendrick Paez. I'll say that right now. The same thing goes for Kendrick Paez. I don't think Kendrick Paez is going to come into the Premier League and immediately cook either, especially considering this thing. And this is the thing. I actually don't mind that he's not coming to Club World Cup. I don't mind it at all. What I don't like is, for one, I agree that if the player was told that he's going to be participating, okay, here's the thing. This is where words, miscommunication, and things could happen, right? If you told him that he's going to be participating in Club World Cup, but you didn't tell him that the participation was going to be, yeah, you're going to be training. That's your participation in Club World Cup. Then maybe you should have been a little more specific, Chelsea. You should have probably told him that he was going to be taking part in the training and not actually playing games. It also doesn't make sense for him to play games. Why? Because he has not played a game for well over 2 months now. He hasn't been playing for his former team, which I think was... What was his former team, actually? Hold on, let me look this up real quick. I can't remember the name. Independiente, right? I think his former team was Independiente. Let me just double check real quick. It was Independiente, yeah, Independiente. So he wasn't playing for Independiente. These past few months, he's been training with Strasbourg. So he doesn't actually have match minutes under his belt. So it's not like, if this is a tournament that Chelsea are going to take seriously, it's not like he's actually going to get serious minutes. He might get like a few minutes here and there off the bench if we're winning the matches, right? And even then, he has to get up to match fitness. He's not match fit. So anyone who had this idea that he's going to come in and start and we're going to see him play a lot, like, very foolish of you, right? And even if you thought he was going to play a lot of minutes, he hasn't even been playing for Ecuador, guys. He came off the bench for Ecuador's last qualifier match against Peru. I know, because I was watching the game. And he didn't look that great either. He didn't look match sharp. And so he's been training in Strasbourg. Now, Strasbourg preseason starts next week, or in a week and a half. It starts very soon. So it makes sense for why get him playing in Club World Cup, risking getting him injured and stuff because it's a competition. It's going to be competitive. These clubs want to win. There's money on the line. Why risk hurting him and then he's not ready for Strasbourg? So might as well just send him straight to Strasbourg rather than getting him to come here. Like, that's the part that confuses me. Why make him travel then? Why make him travel? Is it because Strasbourg aren't ready to have him? Are Strasbourg not ready to host Kendry Paez and have him ready for, I guess, keep him training, I guess, with Chelsea? Keep him acclimated to the group? I do also think part of it could be the fact that his agent probably wasn't happy with the way he was treated. Paez was treated. And so they said, listen, they threw up a ruckus. They said they had a few choice words with the Chelsea camp. And Chelsea said, you know what? Come travel with us. Come travel with us. At the same time, too, Paez was in South America. So it wasn't like he was going to travel with the Chelsea contingency either. So I think sending him to Strasbourg isn't a bad idea, especially because he hasn't been playing professional level football. I think develop him like you developed Santos, see how it works out at Strasbourg, and then we make the we could even make the decision in January. I don't think it's going to happen, but we could make the decision in January to bring him back. But reassess it again in the summertime. Let's see what happens. And if he kicks off, if he has a good season there, good for us. He's developed. He's going to be ready for Chelsea, right? Or we'll like to pretend and hope that he's ready for Chelsea. And if not, then give him another season to develop, really adapt, really get used to it, acclimated like we did with Santos. Santos had 2 seasons. What a save. Yo, Palmeiras has Porto on the ropes. But really gave him a season to, get acclimated. And if it doesn't work, give him a second season like we did with Santos. Santos had 2 seasons a season and a half at Strasbourg. And see how it works out. And then send him to preseason. If he's going to get loaned out to Strasbourg anyways, there's no point in having him in the Club World Cup tournament. The part that confuses me is why have him travel? Why have him travel? Maybe just to keep him fit, to train with the club, get that intensity in there so that he's ready for Club World Cup instead of relying on him, or not Club World Cup, Strasbourg, instead of relying on him to train on his own. That's the only thing I can think of. But other than that, it just doesn't really make sense to me as to why make him travel. But yeah, it's just, that's the way I see it. Yeah, that's the way I see it. And I agree. Strasbourg is the best bet to get Kendry ready for Premier League. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on the Kendry situation. I do think it's being a little bit overblown. But at the same time, like, I do understand why people are confused. Like, why is he traveling? I thought he wasn't going to take part. It seems like PR. I do think to an extent you just got to keep him training. Rather than leave him in France to train with a trainer or something like that. Just train with us when Strasbourg are ready and the preseason start. Go to Strasbourg, get ready for that training, and train with Rossignol. That's the way I see it. Yeah, Porto have been second best all game from what I can tell. All right, next segment. This is the part that some of you have been accusing me of clickbait, but I'll be honest with you guys. I put a question mark at the end of that one. I don't know if this is real, but it's also not false either. Osimhen waiting for Chelsea. I don't think it's going to happen, but it's also not been completely dismissed either. And that's the part that, is the hope that kills some of you guys. Oh my days. Porto almost scored. This is the part that, the hope that may potentially kill some of you guys. Hopefully not. But let's read into some of these tweets and what I'm talking about. So, Turkish football expert Sadar Ali Selikler. I definitely butchered that name. Victor Osimhen is not in a hurry and expects a move from England. I heard that if Chelsea buys Osimhen, Galatasaray will also move for Nicholas Jackson from Chelsea via Neo Sport. So, you're saying there's a chance. And again, I wouldn't mind this move. If he can agree wages, so be it. Apparently, Man United are in for Osimhen as well, and they're asking the same thing. Lower your wage demands. Otherwise, we're not going to entertain this at all. Let's continue on to the next tweet. And here's the tweet I was talking about. Man United will hold further transfer talks with Victor Osimhen under 2 conditions. If he shows genuine interest in joining and lowers his wage demands. And by the genuine interest in joining, it's a matter of like, hey, dude, are you just trying to figure out like if we're interested in what we're willing to give you, or are you actually interested in joining? Because if you are actually interested in joining, we'll entertain the conversation, but we're telling you right now, lower your wage demands. And listen, guys, I keep saying it. It's a reoccurring theme. It's a reoccurring theme. They keep asking him, and it keeps being about the wages. So at this point, I'm inclined to believe Osimhen is asking for unrealistic wages. All right? If you have United asking this, and United is the club known for paying outstanding wages, if you're turning down Saudi wages, that's the part that turns people off. It's just like, oh, but he's turning down Saudi money. Okay. Well, maybe he wants to earn Saudi money while still playing in Europe, which I think is diluted. And I think you can't get the best of both worlds, Osimhen. So he does want to play in Europe. He doesn't want to play for Turkey. Otherwise, he probably would have agreed some deal, even though I don't think Turkey have laid down a deal on the table yet. But I think Osimhen wants to see what options are out there. He wants the best of both worlds. I think he wants high wages whilst also playing for Europe. But every club is asking him to lower his wage demands. Every club. So, listen. At some point, you got to look at the common denominator here, right? We continue on. 8 teams have contacted Victor Osimhen per me and Rudy Galletti in the last few days. And Rudy Galletti is not a bad source either. Maybe not tier 1, but he's not a bad source either. And in this list, you have Galatasaray, Juve, PSG, Chelsea, United, Arsenal, Milan, and Real Madrid. Guys, I told you, Real Madrid. Even if Real Madrid aren't in for you, and of course Real Madrid are going to be interested, they want a striker. Mbappe can score you goals, but he's not a striker. And who knows? The next manager can probably figure out where to put Vinny or to put Mbappe on the right or something like that. They figure out something. Listen, they gave Ancelotti 3 left wingers with Mbappe, Vinicius, and Rodrigo, and they figured it out. It doesn't matter. They know they need a striker because Kylian's preferred position is going to be that left wing. And he probably might give it to him and then just move Vinicius over to the right. But regardless, they're not going in for him because he's probably asking for too much wages. But the point being, that's speculation, right? Osimhen is in no rush to decide. I do believe these clubs are interested, but I just think that the wages are too much. So yeah, I think the wages are too much. He has been asking for 300K plus, and that's after taxes, I believe, if I'm to believe the sources that are out there. Osimhen has a 21 million euro offer on the table from Galatasaray, and he's currently on 16 million at Napoli. I don't think it's all about money. I think he's looking for the right fit. I don't think it's all about money either, but I think it's about a good amount of money as well as a team that he would like to compete with. So I do think money is a factor. And it always will be a factor, but I think it's a big factor for him. He has to look at himself. He has to look at himself in the mirror and what? And say, I'm Batman. It's unfortunate because I do think he's a good player. I'm not denying the talent. I do think he's a good player. He does miss chances. Like, don't get me wrong. If you guys think Nicholas Jackson is the only one that misses chances, no. He's missed clear-cut chances. But he scores more in more clinical positions than Jackson does. There's no denying that. And his heading ability is superb. And that's something we could use. But time will tell with this one. I think the truth will be revealed on this one. You can't send me out. You can't send me off, Xtel. If you do, then it's probably because I got to go to the bathroom. Didn't he get offered 50 to 60 million per year? But yeah, he got offered insane generational wealth by Saudi. And he's honestly got to give kudos to him. He's got Saudi. He's playing Saudi like a fiddle, man. Do you believe we're in for Osimhen? I do believe if we can get him to lower his salary, we can be in that conversation. Like I do think we're not wasting time speaking with Osimhen until there's clear cut, a clear cut communication that like, okay, I'll lower my wages, but let's negotiate. Or if Osimhen camps come and says to Chelsea, okay, can we try to negotiate again? Because they were close. Because if so, I would actually believe we go for him. It seems like he's willing to drop it. Ugh, I don't know about that. Especially he's waiting for a European club. Yes, Chelsea has spoken to his reps on the move. Maybe. We'll see. Time will tell with this one. This is just another saga I'm so exhausted of, and I just don't want to be dealing with it anymore, to be honest with you guys. It's I'm tired of it. It's just so much to do with money. It's not the sole reason, but it's a lot to do with it. And we'll see. But it's one to look out for. It's not over. There is still a chance, but I just think it's unlikely. I don't think Osimhen lowers his wages to a point where... I think Osimhen is holding on to the idea that football wages are like they used to be, which people will like willingly pay you over 300K a week, like Romelu Lukaku and stuff like that, Harry Kane's of the world and all this and that. But let's be honest, Osimhen, I don't want to be disrespectful when I say this, but like, I'm sorry, Osimhen, you are not Harry Kane level. All right, you're not Benzema level. You're not Lewandowski level. Like, you've consistently scored a good amount of goals throughout your career, and consistently you've been there, but you've never been that world-class level striker. I think you're a top-class level striker with the potential to be a world-class level striker if you're, in the right team. But you have to have done it in that right team before you start asking those 300K plus wages. Wow, superior player of the match was Esteval. So much for Stinker and Hooked. Anyways, so yeah, Marshall, if Chelsea or United put 60 million euro on the table, he'll take it. That's about 14 million gross. He's not asking for 330 million, which is part of what people are speculating. Are they willing to give him a good enough wage? And he's been here. I don't. If yes, we can ship off Jackson. Galatasaray will have interest in him. I don't think, because this is the thing, guys. A lot of people say like we gave him 150 to start. I think that's not true. I think that's their camp and Napoli's camp spreading rumors, right? I think we were willing to work with him until we had UCL, and once we had UCL, we can give him 200 plus. Because I don't think Chelsea are stupid enough to lowball him that much. I think they realize he is a good player. But at the same time, you have to buy into the incentives. And I don't care about this whole like, oh, pay him the wages, all this and that. No. We have incentives for reasons. I'm not paying players a certain wage just to sit around and be happy with that wage. I want you to have the hunger to want to earn more. So I'm all for the incentivized structure, guys. I will never back away from that. I wanted it even before this bully takeover, right? But as we got UCL wages, we can give him 250K. Maybe, but it has to be 250K that you earn. I don't just want you sitting on your laurels being happy to be earning 250K. What if he gets hurt? Because he does have an injury record, guys. Let's be honest. He does have a history of getting injured as well. He's not stayed fit for a single season. Entirely. Most players do, but that's another one too that he doesn't stay. He goes through spells where he has an injury. It's another factor as well. So yeah. And thank you, Sullivan, for the tweet here. Jackson moving here is impossible. Gala found a new treasure map, and they got some cash. Yeah. Victor Osimhen's priority is to play Champions League football next season. Yeah. By the way, guys, it's not Galatasaray's player. It's Napoli's player. So they want Chalobah. There could be something there as well. So again, there's a possibility. We do have some leverage in this that could potentially work in our favor to getting an Osimhen. But until I start seeing links, until I start seeing negotiations, Fabrizio's not reported it, Ornste's not reported it, you know, the big outlets that we rely on have not reported it. I just don't see it happening. It could. It's still on the table. It's not impossible, but it could happen. And Buma is asking for 250K pound. Marshall and Verts still earn. Marshall and Verts will earn over 250K. That's their problem, bro. I mean, yeah, he got injury problems. At least we got the lap. Yeah, exactly. Can we file a complaint about Palmeiras coach taking Esteval off early, saving him, man? No, yeah, I wanted to see him more. He wasn't doing a terrible job. He could have stayed on the pitch. The biggest factor is wages, not the fee, I believe. Yeah, I agree. As an African, I really, really wish Osimhen joins Chelsea. Tired of this. I'm tired of the saga too, man. This Esteval kid does look good. Did you watch the game? Yeah, I have it in the background, guys. I have it in the background. But yeah, I was like kind of on and off. But he did look good from what I saw. Yo, Yandu, shut up. You and your agenda. He won man of the match, bro. He literally won man of the match. Get out of here, bro. But anyways, yeah. He should have probably stayed on. I would have liked for him to stay on. He was their best chance to win. But yeah, he was good. Yeah, everyone's saying he was good. Yeah. Yandu has an agenda. Yandu doesn't want to believe that these players will be good. But hey, we're here for it. We're here for it. Yandu also said on the Discord, which by the way, if you guys haven't already joined the Discord, be sure to join the Discord. We got a lot of activity going on there, and a lot of banter. But Yandu also said that he'll stop calling Maresca a bald fraud cunt, whatever the hell you call him, if he goes undefeated up until the knockout rounds, or not goes undefeated but wins every game. So I'm holding you to that. I'm holding you to that. He muted 2 people. Yeah, because those motherfuckers, shout out Adrian and shout out NTK, they kept saying Maresca was not Maresca. Pochettino's my boy. Pochettino is not my boy. I am so against every single thing Pochettino stands for. I fucking hate that guy. He's a horrible, horrible manager. I never wanted him at Chelsea. And if you guys know me, if you know me from Cage No Filter days, you know I do not like Pochettino. Never rated the guy. Never rated the guy. I thought he was shit. You can blame Spurs fans for that, because Spurs fans were glazing him and saying, "Oh, bring back Pochmo, champagne football." When fucking when they had a fucking elite manager in Jose there that got them to a final, and then their stupid joke of an institution decided to sack him before he got to that final and played that final. Fuck out of here, bro. Fuck out of here, Pochettino. That guy's a fraud. But anyways, guys, got a few more topics for you before we call it a night. But yeah, Esteval did look good. I'm not a clown. Yeah, he is a clown though. No, don't include me. Jez, you're not included in that. The PSG team is ruthless. We don't stand a chance. Yeah, I don't think we're beating PSG though. I'll be honest with you, Yandu. I don't know if you included that one, but we ain't beating PSG. I also don't think we're playing PSG anymore. I think the brackets have changed up a little bit, and if we do get to that point, we have a chance of playing Bayern and the winner of this one, or the second place of this one. I don't know, but yeah, yeah, you're late, but it's okay. We're gonna wrap up very soon. If you haven't done so already, guys, smash up the like button. It helps us out tremendously. But let's go on to the next segment, which is gonna be Winger Talk. Winger Talk. So there's been some news on the Winger segment, guys. A few things to include on this. Just 3 tweets here. Not much, but it's still something I wanted to bring up to you guys that I thought would be an interesting discussion to have with you, chat, now that no one else is here. It's just me. Listen, I don't do solo shows often, but everyone checked out after football ended. So, hey, no transfer news. Transfer window's closed. People are like, there's nothing to talk about. Well, there's plenty to talk about. But, hey, it is what it is. Let's go ahead and get into this. And we're going to start off with this first tweet right here about Gittins. Jamie buys no kittens. By the way, also, we'll mention this. Samu Amaridian. Well, I know he doesn't go by Amaridian anymore. He goes by Samu. Had a good game as well. He looked very, very threatening for Porto. He had a pretty decent performance. So, again, talent ID is there. We should have closed the deal. Negotiating sucks. We got João Felix instead. Thanks, Winstanley. You fucking suck. Or Lawrence Stewart and Winstanley. Fuck you guys for that one. Anyways, let's go back to this. Ben Jacobs. Eventually, this deal is expected to get done because Gittins wants to move, and they, Dortmund and Chelsea, are not actually far apart from some had suggested. We heard 70 million euros or more, but the number I'm told is 55 million euros, up by 5 million euros from what Chelsea originally thought would get the deal done. And it's not just the number, but the structure of the deal as well. And that's coming from the Football Terrace. Big up to them. We continue on here. Alejandro Garnacho and Nico Williams are on the list if Chelsea decide to walk away from Jamie Gittins. Now, here's the thing. I don't think Nico Williams is happening, and I also don't think Garnacho is going to happen. The Garnacho links have been so dead ever since the whole fiasco of him getting kicked out, the end of the season with the Europa League and all that stuff. It's been really bad for Garnacho. It looks like Napoli might be his next move, or he might go back to there was another club too that was linked to him. I can't remember. But here's the thing. Nico Williams is happy to reduce his salary in order to join Barcelona this summer. So everyone wants to reduce their salary for Barcelona, but not for Chelsea. Ridiculous, man. Ridiculous.
Let's have it right.
Anyways. So listen, I'm not trying to give people hope. What I will say is this. The player is willing to reduce his salary. Maybe not for Chelsea. Or maybe for Chelsea. The thing is, there's wiggle room there. Because he's willing to reduce his salary, period. Right? They're saying for Barcelona, he's willing to reduce his salary. And that might be true. It might just be only for Barcelona. However, there is wiggle room. He's willing to reduce his salary. Whether it's for Chelsea, time will tell. But I'm starting to think that the interests and the links are true. Well, I didn't think I never really doubted that they were true. However, I don't think it's going to happen. I think Gittins is the one, and that's it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I don't think we're going to go for anyone else other than Gittins. And if you are in the UK, the transfer window did just reopen as well. So that's another thing to keep in mind, ladies and gents. So we'll see. The Gittins deal will probably happen. We'll probably negotiate something with add-ons. I'm guessing it might be 40 million with 50 million euro in add-ons or whatever. Time will tell with that one. Again, like I said, I don't care about the targets because whether it's proven or not, listen, we went for proven in Felix and Neto and Tosin, and unfortunately, they've been underwhelming this season. Just get me good players, okay? Just get me players that you think will fit. And Sancho, too. Let's not forget Sancho's proven, but that didn't work out either. But we'll see. We'll see. That's something that just get the negotiations done. That's all I care about. Stop telling me about all this and that oh, we're gonna, we're linked with this, we're linked with that. Bro, just get me the players. Stop fucking around with all these links and we're interested in this and that and all this bullshit. I don't care. I genuinely don't care. Just get the negotiating done and we'll go from there. Another player that I actually wouldn't mind, and if you guys remember way back in the day, we were actually linked to this player. And obviously he ended up choosing to go to another club to continue his career. But we might as well entertain this one, and that's Gordan Rumors. Just real quickly, we'll breeze through this one, and we'll go into the next part, which is, here we go, right here. First tweet, this is from May 19th. It's an old tweet, but apparently Chelsea and Arsenal are interested in Gordan. Newcastle have a price tag of around £80 million. I don't remember how much his price tag was originally when he came from Everton, but I think it was similar. It may have been 60 million pounds from Everton at the time. Financial concerns could force Newcastle to listen to offers for Anthony Gordon this summer, with Chelsea and Arsenal interested. However, his 75 million pound asking price could put off suitors. And that was the most recent one about 3 weeks ago from Caught Offside. Not the most reliable source, but it's still a source regardless. Listen, when it comes to the left wing, I would take Anthony Gordon. I think he's a workhorse. He'll come back, he'll track back and defend, which we've known and recognized that under Maresca's system, that is something that is very much valued and that is very important to Maresca. Players that can come back and track back. So that is another thing. He's a pacey player. He's got pace, he's got good dribbling ability, so he can be a menace on that left wing. He's got scoring ability as well. Let's be honest. Last season, he didn't have that great of a season. He did put up a decent amount of numbers though, but the season before that, he was an absolute rock star for Newcastle and did carry them a lot. So I don't think he's a bad shout. I don't think he's a bad shout considering how poor the left wing market is. I don't think Leao is a good choice for this team in terms of what they need for what Chelsea needs in profile. Also, he hasn't had a good season in like three seasons now, since the Potter season was a decent season for him. I also do think that Nico Williams, I don't think it's going to be a possibility. I just don't think he's interested in Chelsea whatsoever or moving out of La Liga. I'll be so real. He's probably more interested in Barcelona because his homie Lamine Yamal is playing there, and that'd be the dream team, right? They're homies. So Leao offensively fits us, yeah, but defensively he doesn't. Yeah, that's the thing. We need the complete profile. Because offensively, you can say that Jadon probably... No, he doesn't fit us. Offensively, Jadon can be a good creator, but defensively, he sucked. He barely ever tracked back. He always let his man loose. He was a liability defensively, let's be real. So it has to be both ways. It has to be both ways with this system. Who knows? I mean, Maresca could adapt. Maresca could tweak the system a little bit more this season coming up. It is always about, setting those fundamentals at first, like we heard Vitinha talking about with Luis Enrique. I think it's the same thing with Maresca. Not that they're the same manager. I'm just saying it's the same process. We could see potentially that it's the first season of learning the system and then the second season of tweaking it and getting better with that system. So I think an Anthony Gordon would fit Maresca's system a lot more than a Leao would. Nico Williams, I don't know about his defensive ability, so I can't speak much on that one. But yeah, that's my 2 cents in the situations, guy. But yeah, Leao is an X factor, but I don't know. I feel like X factors are leaving the game. Shirky is one of the few that are left, and I don't even know how that's going to work out in Man City. I think Pep is going to destroy him, just like he destroyed Grealish. But people are going to argue that one. That's a debate for another time. But yeah, ladies and gents, we're close to wrapping it up. If you haven't done so already, do smash up the like button. It helps us out tremendously with the YouTube algorithm. Let's see how many likes I'm at, because I've had the game on over my YouTube thing that tells me how many likes I'm at. Hey, not bad, guys. 52 likes. Not bad. There are over 60 of you watching, though, so if we can get it to 60 likes, that'd be great. But not bad, guys. I appreciate the gesture. I appreciate you guys smashing the like button. It helps us out tremendously, and it helps us not have stinker performances here, like Yando likes to think Esteval did have. But anyways, so thoughts on Esteval? From what I've seen, like Icy, I thought he had a pretty solid game. He did end up getting the man of the match performance, and he had an opportunity to score. He had a few opportunities to score. He was causing them issues. He was probably their best attacker for Porto. On the other end too, I can't lie. Samu was causing trouble to Palmeiras as well. I think there was an entertaining match. For a 0-0, it was an entertaining match. It was back and forth. But yeah, I think Esteval had the best chance, and unfortunately, both the keepers had good performances in terms of keeping. Like, holy crap, Palmeiras should have scored multiple times. Like, they were very close. It was a very entertaining match. But yeah, I think Esteval had a good performance. I'm excited to see what Esteval does. Who are they playing next, guys? Who is Palmeiras' next opponent in Club World Cup? Palmeiras. Next opponent is going to be Al Ahly. Guys, I'm telling you right now, Esteval is going to destroy them against Al Ahly. Esteval is going to destroy them against Al Ahly. He is going to destroy them. So watch that one. He will. Trust me. Trust me. He will. He will. He will. That's going to be Palmeiras win easy. I mean, not easy. Al Ahly did put up a good fight, and they did put up a good performance against Inter Miami, but that's Inter Miami. Inter Miami were so poor. So poor. But against Al Ahly, I expect Palmeiras to just...
What is your go-to Mackie D's order?
Nugget.
That's not what I meant to play. But what I expect to happen...
Yeah.
that kind of performance from Esteval. So, yeah, we'll we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. It'll be something like this too. Yeah, there'll be a lot of that too. There'll be a lot of that too, for sure. But yeah, there'll be a lot of that. We'll see. We'll see against Al Ahly. That game is, by the way, that game's going to be on Thursday. So if you're in the UK, that's going to be 5 p.m. UK time, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, we'll see. Oh, Ahmed's here. Ahmed, what's going on, bro?
Sorry, bro. I had
Welcome
to
back.
eat before I forgot because like I hadn't had anything to eat, so I had to sleep.
It's
But what have I
okay.
missed? What topics have I missed?
Well, rather than go back and talk about, Gordan and all that funny stuff, let's actually talk about this next one, because I'll be honest with you, my bladder is about to explode, and I need a relief pitcher real quick. Baseball talk. But let me read off this. Go into the next topic. We'll read off the defensive targets. So some rumors that have been going around in terms of center backs that we're linked to. And we'll see where this goes. And obviously you can give your opinion on the targets and I'll come back and give mine. So first tweet here is this came from the end of May that apparently Chelsea are weighing up the approach for Everton center back Jared Branthwaite, but David Moyes is reluctant to sell him. Probably the best center back that Everton have. With James Tarkowski recovering from hamstring surgery, Moyes would be thin on options at the back if Branthwaite were to depart. Continuing on, Simon Johnson from The Athletic, June 3rd, saying that Chelsea are not considering Jared Branthwaite right now. Right now, meaning not ever, but just as of right now, we're not considering him. But that's not to say things could change in the future. Continuing on, target that we already know we're linked with is this one. Chelsea are thought to be considered an attempt to bring Mark Gahey to Stamford Bridge. This has gone quiet, but that's not to say it can't reignite, especially considering that the window has opened again, and they probably want to see how our center backs do perform in the Club World Cup. Another one that we haven't heard of in a while is this one. Thomas Araujo is a target for Chelsea, PSG, and Liverpool. We are going to see Araujo play in Benfica. I think tomorrow, actually. I think he plays. So, yeah, I believe Benfica have a match tomorrow against River Plate, if I'm not mistaken. So another one to keep an eye on who could potentially be a Chelsea target. And another one right here from the source here, Abo Lapt. I guess this is a Portuguese publication. Breaking: Benfica defender Thomas Araujo is Chelsea's priority target for central defensive option. He has a release clause of 80 million euro. Quite a pricey release clause, but a player to keep an eye on. So, Branthwaite, Araujo, and Mark Gahey. The floor is yours, Ahmed, while I use the restroom real quick.
All right, so I think in terms of centre back targets, like I'm gonna be quite honest with you boys. The following, like I think Branthwaite is gonna be extremely hard to for the transfer to happen. Again, he's probably gonna be worth 70 to 80 million, and I don't think the club is willing to spend that sort of money on him at the end of the day. I think the club ideally probably wants to bring in one centre back, and then I think Hato will be the left back. By the way, that's another target that can play centre back as well that we're looking at. But we're looking at him also to be our starting left back. I think the thing is, and I've always said this before, when you go to some of these clubs, an Everton, a Brighton, or just any of these guys in the Premier League, bro, be prepared to be playing the high prices, bro. You know, a player can be unhappy, but at the end of the day, the person that chooses the price that that they're going to be sold at. It's not the player, it's the club. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. So for me personally, I just look at this and I'm like, there's no way we get Branford at this point in time, unless the price goes drastically down to like a 50 million, maybe a 60 million pounds. Then Branford is probably off that list at the end of the day. Right now, the next one that I know Marsh spoke about is Mark Gurhey. Gurhey would probably be my ideal signing personally. I would love to have him. I think for me, it's a question of can the club convince him over Newcastle and some of those other clubs. I would like to think they can do that. And the other guy, Araujo, again, this is like very unreliable at the end of the day. I know the club's been interested in him. The club's been linked to him. We've even made a bid for him at one point in time. I think it was not this January previous, but a January before that, we actually made a bid for Thomas Araujo, and we didn't sign him. So, sorry, it was the summer before that. It was last summer, actually, that we tried to make a bid for him in the final days of the transfer window.
Did we actually try to make a bid?
Yeah, we did try. We did make a bid in the final days of the transfer window.
Oh, wow.
It was last year. But listen, I don't think we're going to be coming back in for him again either. If the price is 80 million euros, that's 72
a steep price.
Yeah. Well, and this is release clause as well. Then, we're not going to be in business, sadly. So I think realistically, sadly, the cheapest option, unironically, of the three is a guy that I would probably want in the team, which is Mark Gurhey.
Yeah. This is the thing. Like, for me, it's the experience that convinces me to bring in Mark Gurhey. Mm-hmm. And I think he's not a bad center back. I mean, one, the leadership ability is there. Two, ever since he's made that move to, first of all, let's also add context to this. Newcastle purchased him before he even played a game for Chelsea, an official like Premier League game.
Crystal Palace, not Newcastle, mate.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to say Crystal Palace. Yeah. So that right there should tell you a lot in terms of like they really believe in the talent.
Championship, if I'm not mistaken. He had a great season in the Championship. People forget.
I think he was playing for Hull City in the Championship. Was it Covington?
Yeah. Listen, it was something like that essentially. So essentially, he had a great season there, but he was a guy that we lost again due to the Lampard era. That's something that a lot of people forget. Remember, right? We lost him due to the Lampard era, similar to Tomori. And his trajectory, ironically, very funnily enough, is actually kind of different to Tomori because, like, he kind of was very solid for Crystal Palace. It's only now that he kind of grew into something. Whereas with Tomori, he had a great few seasons at AC Milan, and then the injuries have really just hurt him. If that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Like, he had almost the opposite effect, Marshall. If that makes sense.
Yes. That to me, like the fact that he came into the Gahey, by the way, the fact that Gahey came into this Crystal Palace side when you had Anderson in the team, when you had they had decent defenders. I think Cahill was still in that team when he came in, I believe. He came in, rose through the ranks, and is now one of their captains. Like in this
he used to play
4 years.
The thing about him was that he was playing consistently, Marshall. He actually played consistently for Crystal Palace.
Yep.
The thing was that Anderson kind of got a lot of the credit from him. I think the thing that really helped him explode was the England. When he started playing well for England, basically.
Yeah.
That's the thing that really
the Euros helped him a lot. And that's what I mean. Like, he was, for England, he was considered their best player pretty much for that tournament. That says a lot, man. Like, I really do think that this player is going, once you see him at Chelsea, people are going to understand why they were interested in him, why people rate him so highly as well. I do think...
I just think he's just the best of, like, I don't want to call him mid, but just like, above average centre-backs. He's just the best of the above average centre-backs. Is the best way to put it, man.
Yeah. I don't think he's world class, by the way.
That's what I'm saying, Marshall. Yeah, I know. Listen, that's literally the best way to put it. He's the best of the above average centre backs. That's literally the best way to put it for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And for me, sorry, Marshall.
You're good.
I think the thing for me fundamentally is that he is the best option. The problem is, are we going to go for the best option on the market, Marshall?
Mm-hmm.
And are we going to then be able to, with the way we negotiate, with the way we do stuff, are we going to be able to get him in? Because remember, he's going to be, for me, he's the hot commodity in the market right now, basically. He's better than Brandfait. He's better than Thomas Araujo, right? He's probably better than a lot of the centre-backs currently in the market, right? He's probably the best right now. Yeah. Are we going to be able to get that deal done, Marshall?
I think this is going to sound a little silly, but I think it does play a factor. I think there can be a possibility that we do pull on the Chelsea heartstrings a bit because he is an academy kid.
You have to hope that works, but the problem is, man, I always say it's not about convincing the player that I have a worry about right now. I don't know about you. But the thing that I always say is then, it's about the negotiating, mate.
Yeah. And that's the problem. That's always been the problem. It's been the negotiating. So I hope that they've been working on this in the background. Hopefully we hear about this.
We keep saying that, bro. It's already 2 weeks until the end of June. The thing is, man, you have to, Marshall. I'll be honest with you. I don't know about your opinion. There has to be a lot of movement happening the first year of the window because, at least in my opinion, if you truly believe that you need to get your incomings done, the vast majority of them, at least like 95% of them done by the end of June, you gotta have to start working overtime. In my personal opinion, if that's what you truly believe. Bro, I don't know about you, bro.
They don't even have to work overtime. They should have been working before the window even.
I know. Listen, the problem is, bro. They haven't. That's what it looks like to me.
I know. That's what it looks like too. They haven't been doing. They've been just twiddling their thumbs. It's like we're just watching the football, man. We're just like fans. We're waiting for you guys. Like, they're out here watching Casually FC instead of getting the signings. What's Casually saying? What signings should we be doing? Like, what are we doing, bro?
This is why, by the way, I just look at this and I just, I have to question it in my personal. I look at this stuff and I'm just like, I have to. I'm not saying I need to be expecting signings this week, but I have to be seeing a lot more advancements of deals in some way, shape, or form. Because, like, if you truly have like a deadline that you want to hit to be able to get stuff done, then you need to start hitting it. Because the reality situation is we are in preseason. That's the one thing that people seem to be forgetting. This is preseason for Chelsea right now. What we're doing right now, essentially, is because like these guys aren't going to be back until probably the late July or early August, if that makes sense, Marshall.
Not to make it about this, the only reason I kind of disagree with that is because it feels like it's just an extension of the season because it took an international break and now we're back. Like international break is always 2 weeks, so it took a 2 week international break after the season ended and now we're back. Like it feels like that to me, but. You're not wrong either. This is essentially kind of the preseason.
The problem with these comments, I don't want to speak. I don't do the thing of speaking about interview comments anymore. I've told people there's no point of reading interview comments unless like in the Chelsea era. Again, as I said this before, I stopped doing it with Poch and I didn't do it with Maresca. So I'm not gonna comment on those, personally.
Yeah, this is obviously the preview for tomorrow. That's another thing I got to discuss tonight too, the preview for tomorrow. So I'll look back at these comments, Saliman. Thank you for posting them in a little bit when me and Ahmed discuss the preview for tomorrow. So I'm gonna start.
I just had the best.
No, don't read it. Don't read it.
Rico,
it's
man,
okay.
Rico, bro.
It's okay.
Get off.
You're crazy.
Get off the field, man. That's what I'm gonna say. Get off the play. I'm never gonna say the T word, right? I'm good.
It's fine. It's just we don't gotta. Pay him no mind.
No, he's my guy, man. That's fine.
It's again the negotiating is the part that always makes me nervous with these guys because they
fundamentally that's the issue, Marshall. The problem with us is the negotiating. Like that's the one issue. Like,
and on top of it too, it's like I don't like the PR. I already went on about this and I fucking lost my head on it already. Like. You told me in February that you got the groundwork done. You went ahead and got deals done ahead of time and stuff. You already knew you wanted Gittins since then. You already knew you wanted Gahey since February as well. We were linked to him in January. Cool. When this window opens up, I want to hear Chelsea are negotiating with Dortmund about Gittins. Cool. And then in the next 24 hours, Gittins agrees deal and Dortmund agreed deal to Chelsea. And then in 48 hours, here we go. 2 days, boom, done. Bim bash bosh, saga done. All right, same thing with Gahey. I don't want to hear about it for a week, 2 weeks, negotiating with Crystal Palace. No, that should have been done already. You knew what your targets were. You knew who you wanted. You claim out here. You said you didn't get anything done in January because we went ahead and got a head start in summer window and summer signings. Cool. Then let's see it. But it's just that's what I hope for. Is what I hope for going to happen? I doubt it. Next topic, and one of the last topics before we go into the preview for the quick preview for LAFC, to be honest, is going to be Ekitike to United. So this is something that happened as of recently, and it's gaining some traction actually. Let's read into it a little bit. So we inquired about the price, and that's about it. The price we know is about 100 million euros, 80 million pound or something like that. Let's look into it. So, exclusive. Manchester United have now officially entered the race for Chelsea and Liverpool target Hugo Ekitike, having made contact with Eintracht Frankfurt within the last 48 hours. The price tag remains at 100 million euros, according to Sky Sports and Plettigol. This happened a few days ago, 3 days ago, June 12th. We continue on. Manchester United have accelerated discussions for Hugo Ekitike. Discussions have intensified over the last 2 days with the player's entourage and have progressed really well. Contacts have been made with Frankfurt at the time when Liverpool and Chelsea remain in the starting blocks, according to Santi JFM. Then we continue on here. Florian Plattenberg reporting today, actually, that Hugo Ekitike said, "My favorite club as a child was Manchester United. I've always admired them." Hugo Ekitike told RTL in December of 2024. United are so far the only club to have made direct contact with Eintracht Frankfurt. Liverpool and Chelsea have, up to now, only held concrete talks with the player's management, according to Sky Sport. Lastly here, United are the only club that have spoken to Eintracht Frankfurt about Hugo. Frankfurt sporting director Marcus Krush is friends with United's head coach of recruitment, Christopher Vivell. Ekitike is open to moving to Old Trafford. Hey man, if you want your career to die, go ahead by all means.
I've said this before, bro. The problem right now with Ekitike is that essentially Frankfurt is trying to get the bid on what they want, Marshall. You know what I mean?
Yeah, not happening. Not with us.
Right, and the problem with Chelsea is that, and this is the question I have right now, is that the problem you have to question, how desperately does Chelsea want him? Because if Chelsea does want him, you know what Chelsea are like. They'll agree the 100 million fee. They might pay a little bit more on top and then just do the usual stuff that they do, Marshall. Because that's what they will do. We know what the club is like. If they really desperately want a player, they will reach the price. If that makes sense.
I don't disagree, but at the same time, I feel like there is a limit. Like, this is too much. This is too much for this player.
The thing is,
like, Caicedo makes sense. Enzo made sense. This one, not so much.
The thing is, like, we can listen. Obviously, people wanted Enzo and Caicedo, which was fair. That's why the headcanon made sense. The question is, does the headcanon make sense for them, bro? That's what you need to ask them, not for me. I may not want him for 100 million, but if they would entertain the 100 million, because let's say United bid, imagine if United bid 100 million.
Then that's done. It might be.
No. The reason why I'm saying that is because we saw what happened with Brighton and Liverpool. Liverpool bid 100-something million. Obviously, the player, at the time, decided, I still want to stay for Chelsea. But then this what happened. He's a part of United, by the way.
Yeah, he's still there. He's still there. He didn't get fired.
He's still there. But like the point I'm trying to make is that 100, and then we bid 120 million to get the deal done. Remember for Caicedo. So
yes,
right.
That was true.
So for me, that's the point I'm trying to make. Like maybe someone bids that 95 million, the 97 million, or something like that. That's really close to it, and Chelsea's like, fuck it, no, we can't let this happen. We need this player. We can't let him go to a rival, for example, because we believe in this player. And then they paid 100 M's.
Yeah. I really hope our club isn't naive enough to actually do that, though, because...
Well, we are known to do that. That's the thing I always say is that when we really want a player, I always give context. When we really want a player, we will go the extra mile.
It just doesn't seem like we really want him, though, because all we've known so far is that we just asked about the price.
The thing for me right now is that I don't know if that's the case yet. We will have to wait and see. Right now, for me, I think it's a question more so of like we need to see what's happening. Does that make sense, Marshall? We need to see what happens this week, what happens next week, how stuff happens, right, and everything like before that happens. I actually have to disagree with this in regards to outgoings, because the outgoings do not affect actually any of our attackers, bro. If you're being realistic, Marshall.
I think it affects how much money we're willing to spend, though, to an extent.
The thing is, the kitty is quite big now, because you got UCL football now, Marshall. That's the one thing I would have to disagree on, right?
And this tournament.
So I don't actually think the money you're spending now is actually that affected anymore. You can maybe say, even from a wage standpoint, actually, we are probably a lot more better off Yes, you still got the Sterling wage and the Chilwell wage, but the Kepa wage is now off the books, by the way.
Yes, just not officially yet.
Not officially, but you know what I mean. But like, it's basically
yeah.
it's basically
It's
off the books now.
essentially gonna happen.
So
yes.
obviously, Nkunku's wage is still on the books, but I think again, you've only got 3 big wages on the books. The rest of them have already taken pay cuts or whatever you want to call it to stay at the club.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's definitely going to be, that Ekitike saga is definitely going to be an interesting one because you got multiple clubs interested. We'll see where Liverpool stand on it as well because, you know, we haven't heard much from their camp, but they definitely need a striker.
The problem of Liverpool is that
they work in silence too.
They just did the transfer record. They just brought the transfer record, bro. So
I don't think they're gonna break it twice. But then again,
it's not about breaking it twice. It's about
not twice, but breaking it. Not breaking it twice, but spending a large sum of money for a second player.
Like they just splurged a lot, yes.
But on the other hand, too, considering they hadn't splurged anything at all last summer, who knows? Who knows?
Bro, that's the point I'm saying. I think for me, with Liverpool and the way Liverpool fans are talking, it's now about getting the outgoings done. Whether it be a Darwin Núñez, whether it be maybe a Luis Diaz leaving the club, maybe even a Jota, right? It's now about moving those guys, right? And then if you move those guys, and it's then bringing in the money. Does that make sense, Marshall?
Mm-hmm.
Using that money maybe to bring in Ekitike. The thing about Ekitike is that I don't think he will go to United, you know. I've always maintained that. I think if United, right now, the problem that you've got is not just about, we're Manchester United. You also need to think about it from like a player standpoint. Is that gonna help you out being at United right now?
No.
That's it then.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, I don't know. The Gyökeres thing isn't dead yet, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen either.
No, Gyökeres said he wants to go to Arsenal over them. I don't know if you saw that. That was like literally the breaking news.
Yeah, I recall seeing that, and that
came out from Fabrizio yesterday. So he's even rejected them, and that even plays a bigger question because if Arsenal then say, you know what, we'll take you we'll take you Gyökeres over Sesko. We know Chelsea's number 1 target for the longest time in striker marshal is
Osimhen?
We know who Chelsea's number 1 target, Marshall, in the summer for striker was last season. Who was it, Marshall? It wasn't Osimhen.
It was Osimhen.
It wasn't Osimhen. Who was it?
The lap.
Sesko.
No, it wasn't.
Marshall, we legit went in.
Target.
He was. We literally.
No.
But us and Arsenal in the beginning of the window before he signed that new contract that he signed.
That's insane, but it was more. We were more.
No. Almeridion happened afterwards. That's the key thing people forget. It legit was. Us and Arsenal were competing for the signature of what's it called, Sesko. But then he decided to say, guys, I'm not going to leave the club. I'll be lazy. I'm going to stay for essentially another year.
Yes, we were linked to him for a bit, but I feel like we found out about him signing the extension like in May and June.
No, it was in the end of June. Because basically clubs were trying to get him before and trying to stop him from signing that new contract because the new contract had like a reduced release clause of like 45 M's at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That was that's why people were trying to get him in. That's why Arsenal was going heavy on him. We were going heavy on him, but then his agent and him decided we need to stay another year for developmental purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But then, so when that happened, we're like, okay, we moved on to Samu, if you remember. Obviously, we know what happened with Samu. We were linked to Durant at one point in time, and then we decided to finally push for Osimhen because basically he was the last option that we had.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Really, that's the one thing you have to.
I just don't think Sesko's going to happen now. The links to Sesko have been so cold.
No. I'm saying to you, if Ekitike, they just say is unviable, and then Gyökeres actually goes to Arsenal, Sesko is the last man standing, Marshall. And that's the one the club have wanted for a while. The club have wanted Sesko for a while, Marshall, by the way. That's one they've scouted and they've liked for a while. But
I do think targets can change because we were also linked to Ferguson for a while, and that's been dead in the water. But
the difference is Ferguson has lost value a lot. He's been injured a lot. He's not been going up to that upper prediction that a lot of people thought he was. He's had quite a few poor seasons too, Marshall. That's the difference.
That's just, I don't know. I've just not seen that many links for Sesko in recent time. It's been pretty cold, to be honest. It's like a limp body right now. It's not there. It's not there like it was before. So listen, I for me, it seems like the Osimhen deal, the Osimhen links are a lot hotter than the Sesko links right now. We'll see. But enough being said with that. Let's wrap it up with this. A little bit of a LAFC and Chelsea match preview before our match tomorrow. Now, let's pull up some of these quotes that our boy Soliman has offered us. Rusk is saying here, the keeper situation is simple. Robert is number 1, Philip is number 2, and we will analyze and judge penders. Magnan and different players are at other clubs.
That is crazy, man.
On why other loanees didn't come in beyond Santos, it's not complicated. It was a simple decision. Yikes. We have Nani, Pedro, and Ty only as proper wingers, so something for sure is going to happen. When the transfer window is open, for sure, we can do something. And Maresca also said, Jadon Sancho is not with us for sure. That is a position we need to do something. So he's basically coming out and saying, listen, we need more wingers because we're running really low and thin on that position, which we are. And Gittins probably, I don't know if he's going to get iced out of the Dortmund squad, but he's going to be playing very soon as well in Club World Cup for Dortmund against Fluminense, happening, I believe, Tuesday. I believe. So yeah. In terms of this, I'm expecting Jackson to start. Jackson's probably going to start the game, and then we'll see Liam Delap come in the second half. In the second half, is in the 30 minutes left of the game, maybe. There's a possibility Nkunku plays, which is shitty to say because, you know, you got Palmer coming back from international duty, Reece James coming back from international duty, Cucurella coming back from international duty, a lot of players coming back from international duty. So to an extent, it's a little difficult to decide who's going to play and who's not. I do think Lavia is going to start in that pivot. You might see Santos in there as well. Santos, who I don't know if Santos played, but he is also coming back for international duty. So I could potentially see Santos and you know what? Fuck it. It might even be Isugo and Lavia starting. Isugo and Lavia starting, fresh legs. They haven't done much international duty. I don't think Lavia got called up to the Belgian squad, did he? He might have. I don't remember.
Oh my god. Rico's killed the game, man. Big up to Rico, man. He's actually the funniest guy. Come on out, bro. Can't lie to you, man. He had a wild Osimhen take as well, so which killed me, but we don't gonna mention.
But yeah, I don't think it's not gonna be our best 11 because we have players coming back from international duty. They just came back like not too long ago. So
I don't think you have to start best 11 to be honest at all.
I don't think so. Not to underestimate LAFC. It's just that some players just aren't ready.
The sponsor said we got to start best 11. But no one's sponsoring. Who's sponsoring us? Like right now? Let's be real.
Yeah, we don't have a sponsor right now. Mafia, what are we doing? We don't have a sponsor right now.
Unless you're saying the FIFA is trying to put pressure on teams to start starting players.
For sure, we're going to rotate players. It's impossible in this heat to always play the same players.
That's what I'm saying. I told the people before, man, the heat is going to be a problem. I said this before. I don't know why people are surprised by this. A lot of the European teams are going to struggle. Bro, African teams struggle in their own continent to play regular football. That heat. And people are expecting me to believe the team's going to succeed. Like, you know, like, genuinely, I'm interested to see how the Southeast Asian teams perform. Because, like, they're used to, like, tropical heat. The Brazilian teams are probably used to tropical heat as well, right? So, the Mexicans probably would be used to tropical heat as well, Marshall, no? That's heat in general, to be honest. There's some level of heat. They're definitely used to some level. Yeah.
Well, we're North America, so they're already used to the weather.
Yeah, is it not gonna heat that much in LA? Yeah, but they're not playing in LA, big man. They're playing where? They're playing Marshall.
They're playing in Georgia. Georgia can get a bit hot. It's very humid in Georgia in terms of heat levels versus where LA it's just dry heat. Georgia's more humid heat.
Exactly.
So it's an indoor stadium though, so I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue. However, that being said, like I said, a lot of players are coming back from international duty, guys. So don't expect the best lineup out there. I'll tell you right now. You could probably expect Chalobah to be actually no, Chalobah got called up to international duty too. Did Levi Colwell get called up?
Of course.
Fuck.
Ahmed, are you already giving an excuse for tomorrow's loss? Listen, man. Listen, EPL time, man. You gotta get them ready, man. You have to be ready, man. I'm just gonna.
It might be, guys. I ain't gonna lie to you. It might be Badiashile and Mamadou Sarr in that double pivot. With
probably gonna be that. It's probably gonna be that. I'll be honest.
I feel like that might happen. Sanchez is gonna be there because ain't nobody calling up Sanchez to play any.
Sanchez number one.
Acheampong, I can see starting in the right back position. Tosin, actually, Yandu, that's not a bad shout. Tosin and Badiashile. Tosin and Badiashile. That's going to be the two center back pairing, in my opinion. I don't know. Mamadou Sarr is going to Badiashile at left back. I don't know about that. They might force Cucurella to play. Poor guy, bro. Jesus Christ. He get no breaks. But France got eliminated early, so it might be France. Yeah, it might be Gusto left back with Acheampong in the right back. It's gonna be painful to watch, but Gusto might be there because he probably came back from international duty a little bit sooner. Then you're gonna have the possibility of a Sugo and Lavia in the pivot to start the game.
There's no Acheampong for left back. Acheampong wasn't in training, by the way.
But he came on the thing.
He came, but him and Somina went in training, and him and Somina and Kunku went in training today.
Where were they, shopping?
I don't know, but apparently the one in like the training that they do from the camps.
Yeah,
he was in the.
I don't know, but and in terms of the attackers, I'm telling you right now, it's probably gonna be Nani. It's probably gonna be.
I actually don't think Nani will play.
I think it's gonna be Kunku, bro, and George.
I think it'll probably be Tariq, Nkunku, Jackson, and maybe one more person.
Jackson's definitely in there. Neto had international duty, so I don't think he's gonna get minutes either.
It is nasty work.
It's looking cooked, bro. It's looking really cooked.
This is why, again, I had to look at this last transfer window, and I'm like, guys, we didn't actually need people. I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's not looking great now, is it, man? You know what I mean? It's not looking that great right now.
We have enough quality to get a result, but still,
it's not about even. The problem, Marshall, is never about quality.
Yeah.
The issue we have now is the opposite of what we had last summer. Mm-hmm. There's a lack of depth in the squad because which is the irony. You know what I mean? That's the irony. Like last year, so it's just you have to hope that some of the signings have got to come in, bro.
We need that depth.
By the knockouts, bro.
Because Caicedo and Enzo, they're probably not going to start. They had international duty.
They're not. They might not even play 2-1. So I'll be real with you. They may not even get minutes. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I could see them just getting rested.
Yeah.
We'll see. It's a really tricky one for Maresca to manage this one because the players are knackered. The players are tired. There's no way Isugo is going to be inverting. Absolutely not. If that does happen, I don't know. That one's a tricky one, Chief. We have a million center backs and midfielders. Should rest all the main players. Yeah. It's not really excuses, bro. Like, we had international duty. We'll still get the 3 points, but we're just a lot of players. I don't know who's going to play what. It's one of those, like, can't really see what lineup we're going to put out. Because I just don't know who's going to play and who's going to be available. But yeah, it's a tricky one. But I think, give or take, we kind of had our lineup there. I think there's a possibility Cole starts at right wing. Not right wing, but like, I don't know, because Nkunku wasn't in training. It's just it's a weird one. It's a weird one. But yeah, I don't know. Guys. This is a weird lineup. I think it might be Isugo and Lavia that are starting just because match fitness wise. And I don't know if Cole Palmer even plays or starts. So it's a weird one. I think Jackson plays. I know he was in international duty, but I think he came back sooner than everyone else. Had an extra day's rest. I think Gusto is probably going to be our left back, even though I'm so against that. George is probably going to be on the left wing. Yeah. I don't know who's going to play right wing. I'll be so honest with you. And Santos played international duty too. I don't know. Let me look at Brazil real quick. Brazilian national team. Did Santos play in this game against Paraguay? June 10th. That was 5 days ago, guys. Let's see. I think Santos did play, to be honest with you. Santos... No, he didn't play. Oh, so Santos might actually start. Santos might actually start. He was on the bench, but he didn't come out. Okay, so Santos might actually start. So it might be Santos Lavia or Santos Isugo. But Santos be there. Guiu is another one. Oh, yeah, Guiu could play too. That's a possibility as well. He's been called up as well. So Guiu, maybe Jackson on left wing, or maybe Jackson doesn't even play. He just gets, off the bench. I don't think we're going to start off with a strong lineup for the tournament, and then we're going to see the strong lineup against Flamengo. So, yeah. We'll see. We'll see. But, all right, guys. That being said, I think we're all set here. That's kind of our preview. Oh, I guess, listen, this should be a win. It should be straightforward. I do think we win it. I'm going to say 2-0.
I'll probably say it's up for like 2-3-0, to be honest. Yeah, I agree with that. I just think so. I think this is quickly the comment on EPL, so anyone can walk in and start. I don't think we have a choice in this, sadly, boys.
Yeah, it's not really about anyone can just walk in and start. It's about who's been playing the less amount of minutes and is in that red zone for fitness. Like Cucurella was just playing a final like 5 days ago. A lot of players were playing football not too long ago. Then they had to travel. Then they had to fucking settle in, train, heat, adapting the body. Like it's a lot. It's a lot for the players and the athletes. So it's about playing who is more fit and fresh so that you're not running your players down and risking injuries. So it's not really about anyone coming in and playing. It's more so about who's ready to play right now. So I think those are the players ready to play. Caicedo, Enzo, they're not ready to play right now. But we'll see. Who knows? I mean, Maresca knows more than all of us. They've seen them all train. So time will tell with that one. But Ahmed's giving a 2-3-0. I'm saying a 2-0. And that's how we think it's going to go.
Sorry, EPL tough, man. It's not even about whether or not Maresca's system is easy playing. I just think it's just the reality of the situation we're in, bro.
I don't know what's so hard to understand about player fitness.
Like, I'm not even saying Maresca's system. Maresca's system
is being fit to play.
Maresca's system, of course, is not easy to play in, but at the same time, we can't risk these guys getting injured, bro. That's the problem. I think it's not. This is not like the PSG side, where they can play, their starting 11. I saw Atletico Madrid tried to play the starting 11, yeah, and they were cooked. PSG have the luxury of obviously being elite, right, which is a bit more of a relax, where they have extreme dominance over the League A, and B, the way they play does not maximize.
Oh,
the maximize
too.
Yeah, KDH probably starts to, yeah.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad show. He might play right wing again. Fuck
EPL tough, man. EPL tough. Maresca says one thing and does another thing, bro. You know what I mean? This is
no, it is an important tournament, but listen, I mean, we have enough quality to beat LAFC. Let's be honest with us.
What I'm saying, man, Chelsea gets to the quarters. That's more than enough money than they need, bro.
They were up against Atletico Madrid. We can get away with it. We're up against LAFC.
You're up against a watch goat called Olivier Giroud. Shout out to my boy Olivier.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, time will tell. We'll see what happens with the lineup, guys. We'll see.
Does Carlos Vega play for them anymore? Is he a Galaxy player?
No, I'm pretty sure he's not in that team anymore. We'll see. But yeah, folks, we're gonna wrap it up. thank you so much for joining us today. If you haven't smashed up the like button, do so please, because it helps out the channel tremendously. Over about 80 of you watching. We did hit the 60 like mark, so I do appreciate that, guys. Round of applause for y'all in the chat. Let's see who to rate out. But while I'm letting you guys, looking for someone who to rate out, just letting you guys know that we will be back tomorrow to react to the game. I will not be doing a reaction on Friday to the Flamengo game because I will be there. There will not be a reaction to it, period, just because I will be also playing a festival with my band on Friday or on Saturday. So I just won't have the time to do it, guys, unfortunately. So no reaction. There might be a vlog for it, which I'll edit and get that going maybe on Saturday, depending on what time I get home. But yeah, I will be watching the game live, so be on the lookout for that vlog. I will be meeting Jimmy Spliff there for the Flamengo game, so he'll be part of the vlog, and I will figure out a little bit of a meet and greet if you guys want to, you know, meet up. If you're going to the Flamengo game and you want to, you know, hang out, I'll probably let you guys know where to potentially find me. I'll check out the YouTube community post, check out the Discord. I don't know if I'm going to announce it on Twitter. Something about announcing it on Twitter doesn't feel safe for me. So, yeah, I'll go ahead.
Ask a question, Marshall.
Yes.
Did the US win today?
I don't give a fuck about the US right now. That fraud Pochettino's coaching them.
Yeah, man, you won 5-0. Come on, man. Poch Nation, let's
they
go.
Really?
Yes, they beat Trinidad, man.
Wow, they actually did something good for once. I thought it was Haiti. See, I don't even know who the fuck we're playing. I don't care. I'm so checked out with the US right now. But yeah, no, you fucking dickhead. People ask me if there's gonna be a meet and greet. So yes, I'll put the info.
Meeting, man. It's
I
meeting, man.
will be placing the info in a YouTube community post if you guys want to meet up somewhere. I'll tell you right now, I am going to be planning to go to Tir na Nog, which is like the Chelsea bar, before I go to the actual stadium. So if you guys want to get some drinks, Tir na Nog in Philadelphia is going to be the place to go to for Chelsea fans. So I'll probably be there with other Chelsea fans talking about how fucking shit Pochettino is. But other than that, smash up the like button. It helps us out tremendously. Check out the links in the description for more content. Be sure, because the transfer window is now open, Ahmed's probably going to be doing a lot of streams in terms of the transfer news. So go and check that out and let him, you know, get your news over for him, because he's going to be giving you the news more frequently than I am. And if you prefer the 3-hour, you know, podcast version, you always know where to tune into. We'll be here. But yeah, subscribe. Help us out. We're on our way to 3K, or not 3K, I'm sorry, 5K. So get us there, please. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, check out the memberships. There's 4 different tiers starting at 99p. And at the proper casual tier and higher, we give shout outs to our proper casuals. And that's going to be TM127, EE, Dark, Adrian, A. Soliman, and Daniel. Guys, thank you so much for your support as always. And thank you so much to support for everyone else who is also a member as well. People may be looking for you for your Havertz praise. Hey, if you are doing that, then stand on business, and I'll stand on business as well, and we can discuss it. I won't have a Havertz jersey though. I'll tell you that much.
Yes, right? You will. You will have a Havertz.
I don't own one.
You have a 2020.
The only one that I was going to own has been burned by Kai. Unfortunately, it sucks, but it is what it is. It was the nice orange kit too, the alternate kit from 3 seasons ago. I really wanted that kit, but it is what it is. But yeah, big up to every single one of you. We're going to raid out to Sarcasm City, who is still on right now. So copy and paste a raid message. Let him know where you're coming from. We'll catch you again tomorrow for the reaction to the LAFC match. And hopefully it should be. Hopefully he's a
reaction. What is going on, man? What's happened to the game?
Yeah, man. Club World Cup, man. We're in the tournament. Wake up and smell the trophies. Ladies and gents, big up to every single one of you. Have a wonderful night. As always, stay casual and peace out.